Athens, Georgia, Sanford Stadium, and a sea of red awaits the Tennessee Volunteers and the 10th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. And the Dogs are off the leash. Their only loss came 2 weeks ago against Alabama. And welcome in the Volunteers of Tennessee. Well, the big story in the SEC East is Vanderbilt. Yes, 5 games, 5 wins, and nationally ranked. Georgia rolls in 1-1 in conference play, and Tennessee starts the day at 0-2. And hi, everybody. Craig Bolerjack, Steve Beuerlein, and we are so glad you're with us on CBS. And in a word, desperate is the word for Tennessee, looking for their first conference win. And how about Georgia? They're coming off the bye week, and 2 weeks ago, a stunning home loss to Nick Saban at Alabama.
What? That loss to Alabama 2 weeks ago, Craig, was disappointing in terms of exactly how it happened. You talk to the coaches, the players, that's the word that kept coming out. They really felt like they did not put their best foot forward at all. But there is some good news. The bye week came at the right time, and it's good because of 2 reasons. One, they get over that tough loss to Alabama, come out and prove it wrong. But 2, Knowshon Moreno needed that extra week. He had a really bad elbow contusion that there were questions whether he'd even be ready for this week. So last week it would have been a no-go for sure. Phil Fulmer says this is the man that makes a Georgia team go. He's going to be ready to roll today. He needs to get the ball more than the 9 carries he had last week. He will get the football today, trust me.
And there's some controversy in Knoxville. 3 losses has forced a quarterback change, and the football now belongs to this young man, Nick Stevens. About 90 minutes ago, the sophomore took a moment in the Tennessee locker room to think about what's ahead.
So, Nick, you're making your first SEC start. What are your thoughts?
Just go out and protect the ball, play my game, not worry about the crowd, not worry about how many people are watching. Just go out, lead the team, protect the ball. That's it, simple as that.
How about the confidence of this young guy? Now, let me remind you, this is only his 2nd career start and his first in the SEC, Steve Beuerlein, and it comes on the road here in Athens.
Well, Nick, he looks pretty smooth in that locker room, pretty controlled, but I guarantee you the juices are flowing. This is a kid who's got an opportunity today to establish his legend, his legacy. And this is the way these stories are made, Craig. And I'll tell you what, I'm excited for him. A lot of pressure on the national stage today, but he says he's ready. We're going to find out here pretty quick.
Well, the weather, gorgeous here in Athens, Georgia. The sun has popped out here just before game time. Temperature 74 degrees, but the forecast is for mostly cloudy skies. The series, well, the biggest stat may be that Tennessee has won the last 2 meetings against Georgia, and boy, they are desperate to make it 3 in a row. This game and all SEC college football games is brought to you in crystal clear CBS high definition. Oh, the sea of red, a sellout crowd, 97,000 to watch Georgia trying to rebound from that loss 2 weeks ago against Alabama. Tennessee, well, did they heal themselves? Last week against Northern Illinois, they won 13-9, but yet there are still questions. And Steve, this is only the 2nd time since 1981 that Tennessee enters a Georgia game unranked.
It is uncharted waters here for Phil Fulmer and his team, and you know about the pressure that Phil Fulmer's under. They've got to have this game today. Everybody knows it. They should be ready to play.
So Georgia is set to kick away. And back to receive is Rogan and Creer. And a good leg, no return, 4 yards deep. Now it's time for our starting lineups, brought to you by Red Lobster. And the quarterback, we talked about him, Nick Stevens, makes his second career start, his first in the SEC, and he takes the reins from Jonathan Crompton. The offensive line, they're big. They average over 310 pounds a man. Center Josh McNeil makes his 29th consecutive start. Backs and receivers, Arian Foster, the tailback. He'll get most of the work today, averages over 5 yards a carry. Oh, what must be going through the mind of Nick Stevens. Only a sophomore. Flower Mound, Texas is home, and he's right smack dab in the middle of Sanford Stadium. Tennessee looking at 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Play action. Stevens throws far side. It's caught, and it's Gerald Jones, the wide receiver, with his 16th catch of the season.
And right away we see the confidence that Dave Clawson, the offensive coordinator, has for Tennessee. Getting the ball, letting Nick Stevens set up, get the ball to Gerald Jones, one of the 2 guys that Dave Clawson said have got to make plays today. Gerald Jones and senior receiver Lucas Taylor. But a great move selling inside off the play action fake, which, by the way, killed Georgia 2 weeks ago against Alabama, the play action.
He beat Asher Allen, a 25-yard pickup, and not a bad throw. Stevens, Arian Foster, the ball carrier, tripped up, knocked down around the 46-yard line. And again, let's take a look at our starting lineups, brought to you by Red Lobster. And this time, it's on the defensive end for Georgia. Bulldogs will bring a steady 4-man rush led by Geno Atkins. The linebackers, well, the man is Rennie Curran, scored 14 tackles in that loss to Alabama, and 2 good corners in Prince Miller and Asher Allen. Four wide receivers as Stevens drops back shotgun. 2nd down, call it 9. Good protection over the middle, incomplete. Lucas Taylor, the intended receiver, and Steve, let's go above the line.
Well, looking at Tennessee when they have the ball, we already saw a good example making plays through the air. They got to deliver through the air. Nick Stevens, because this Georgia defense is going to be focusing on freezing Arian Foster. That's what they should do. Put the game on the shoulders of Nick Stevens, quarterback for Tennessee. Let's see if he can make plays all day long through the air.
Well, they bunch up 3 wide receivers. Top of your screen on 3rd down and 9. Again, shotgun, Stevens. Long snap count. 3-step drop, pressure. And he can't escape. Georgia crashes the party and drops Stevens behind the big arm of Corey Irvin, number 90.
Nick Stevens, one of the things that we hear about him is that he does a good job of getting through his progressions. Didn't have a chance right there of getting through the progression because you saw the pressure up the field that was affecting him immediately from the time he dropped back. So the 2nd down play right there, though, Nick Stevens did miss Lucas Taylor over the middle for what would have been a good gain.
And Brenton Colquitt is in to punt for the first time this season. Back after a 5-game suspension handed down by Coach Fulmer, alcohol related. That's a high hanger. And a fair catch taken by Miller at the 21-yard line. A 40-yard kick and a hang time of well over 5 seconds. 12:52 to play in the opening quarter. And coming up next, we'll take a look at Knowshon Moreno. Up next on CBS. 1 first down on that opening drive for Tennessee. Georgia will have their turn behind quarterback Matthew Stafford. Boy, highly recruited out of Dallas, Texas 3 years ago. 21-5 as a starter. Let's check out that offensive line. It is a work, Steve, in progress. Vince Vance, by the way, 21 years old today, is the left tackle. And Stafford does have weapons. How about the tailback, Knowshon Moreno, and the freshman phenom wide receiver, A.J. Green. No question, 2 of the best in the SEC.
You got that right. And 2 guys that are going to be here for a little bit longer. You know, they're both young players. This offensive line, as you said, Craig, very, very young up front. So Matt Stafford's got to trust these linemen today and stand in that pocket and make plays.
Stafford sets up and throws. A.J. Green gets his hands on the football. First play of the game, and he's a terrific young freshman. As we check out the defense for Tennessee, hey, they're better than their record indicates. Dan Williams anchors the front line. The linebackers, they will fly around. McKenzie, Wilson, Enrico McCoy, and the secondary is led by the strong safety, Eric Berry. Steve, only a sophomore, but already 8 career interceptions.
And for about a 35-yard average, by the way. When he gets the ball, and he gets it a lot, he knows what to do with it.
A pickup of 7. That's 2nd down and 3 for Stafford and the Bulldogs of Georgia. High formation. A pitch. Marino finds a hole, doesn't need much room, and battles his way to the 40-yard line. And Steve, back above the line we go.
Well, Georgia has the ball. We talked about how he only got the ball 9 times against Alabama 2 weeks ago. Georgia's got to let Tennessee get to know Knowshon Moreno. And for Tennessee, remember the Alamo. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of volunteers showed up that day in that battle. Tennessee, all the volunteers have to be here. They've got a gang tackle, swarm to the football, get to know Knowshon Moreno, make plays, eliminate the big plays in this big play Georgia offense.
What they did do was take his right shoe off after a 12-yard gain. 1st and 10, Georgia at the 40-yard line. Stafford sets up and throws. That ball is in and out of the hands of Sutherland. Brandon Sutherland, a very fine fullback, Steve, by the way. He's a senior making his first appearance of the season back from that injured foot. And he's and he can catch the ball out of the backfield.
He means a lot to this offense. They have been lacking because of him not being there. The lead blocking, obviously, but he is a good receiver out of the backfield. Only has 1 carry on the season. Does not get to carry the ball very often, but very important, vital part of this offense. I think he was a little excited on that play. Took his eyes off the ball.
Hey, you've been sitting around 6 weeks. I'd be excited, too.
I would be, too.
Georgia bunches 3 wide receivers, top of your screen. Now the pitch. Knowshon Moreno finds room, turns the corner. Boy, he will deliver the hit. Did you see him lower the pads, picks up 4 extra yards, and then sprints back to the huddle?
And sprints back to the huddle. That was a pop there now. That was the kind of pop that when you turn the corner, you see him coming at you. You got to make a decision. He's not too big, but boy, he brings a wallop, gets to the edge, and there it is. Whoa! I'll tell you what, that right there was a big-time hit. That was D'Angelo Willingham, number 24, who was the recipient, not the deliverer of that blow.
You know, since Marino became a starter at Vanderbilt last season, that's 11 games, over 5.8 yards a carry, and that is typical of that play we just saw. He delivers the hit. 1st and 10, play action. Stafford sets up, that ball batted down, incomplete. And that stops the clock with 10:57 to play in the opening quarter here in Athens.
Well, Craig, one of the themes that came through in talking to Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator, and Mark Richt, the head coach, about Georgia was that they got away from their base game plan too early against Alabama. That only getting the ball to Knowshon Moreno 9 times during the course of a football game, it's just not nearly enough. And they felt like they got caught up in the fact they were down early. They wanted to get back and make plays. They need to get back into their flow, which is working the ball to Knowshon Moreno so they can get one-on-one matchups on the outside.
2nd down, Stafford, shotgun. Underneath he goes, and that ball is grabbed by Kenneth Harris, number 88, out of Cherryville, North Carolina. Yeah, you know, going back to the Alabama game, that's a great point. 9 carries, 37 yards for Marino, and that forced Stafford. I mean, he threw all day. We watched tape on Thursday, 42 attempts by Stafford, and he forced the ball into some tough Alabama coverage.
Well, he's a very honest young man. He told us, he said, there are things that I need to do better. I need to trust my offensive line, stand in the pocket stronger, and I can't force the football up the field. Sometimes he has a little too much confidence in that big arm, and that's going to be a factor today.
7th play of the drive coming out. And there's the sprint out and another completion. Harris, a short gain, looks to be short of the 1st down by a yard. I see the chains at the 40, and that ball's marked at the 41, but they're going to call timeout and bring him across the field.
And that was one of those throws I think Matthew Stafford would expect himself to deliver a little bit more accurately. If he hits that ball on the money out front of the receiver, he's going to be able to catch that ball, turn up the field, and get the 1st down. Instead, it had to just behind him, make the catch, and fell down short of the 1st down.
Chain gang is out, and they stretch it, and about 6 or 7 lengths short. of the first down. What do you think?
Well, I think there's no hesitation right now. You're on their side of the field. You got your crowd into it. You got 4th down and 6 inches. You got your big fullback, Sutherland, in there. And a hungry, fired-up offensive line. Guys are still steaming about that Alabama game. And Phil Fulmer, he says, I got a pretty good defense, by the way. Let's see who's going to take control of this line of scrimmage on this play.
Yeah, talking defense, they are ranked 13th in the country against the run.
Yeah, giving up only 2.7 yards per carry.
So the Bulldogs huddle up. Georgia 2 of 3 on 4th downs this season. They need about a half a football to keep this drive alive. Under 10 minutes of play, keeper got it. Stafford's almost like the fullback himself. You know, we met him Thursday. Big hands, big body, a lot of confidence.
And you know what? There is an art to running the quarterback sneak. See the little delay he does right there? That is a very difficult thing. Trust me. I was one of the worst quarterback sneakers out there. You can't force it and try and ride those linemen. You got to give them a split second to get their surge, and then you got room to separate and accelerate and get into that line. Matthew Stafford did a great job there.
Massaquoi, A.J. Greens, split up top of your screen from the I formation. Little toss pitch, Marino. Oh, boy, tough to the 35-yard line. Let's check in. Our first time back to New York and Tim Brando.
All right, Bowler, after being banged up last week, Chris Nixon is going to take it in from a yard out, and Vandy leads Mississippi State 7-3. They're looking to get to 6-0 for the first time in 80 years. This ain't your grandma's Vandy, fellas. Back to you.
Oh, boy, what a story. Timmy, Steve, I tell you, in college football and in the SEC, we know how tough this conference is. You throw Vandy now in the mix, my goodness.
Everybody seems to think they're gonna struggle as the season goes along. Someone obviously forgot to tell them that today.
10th play of the drive. Right now, Georgia just taking what Tennessee will give them, and Chappus, the fullback, 49 with a grab. It makes a little slip down around the 33-yard line.
But still, it was a good, smart decision. I'd like to see a little bit better accuracy out of Matthew Stafford. You know, he's got the feet and presence and the athletic ability to adjust and make those throws. That ball was a little bit behind Chappus, and again, if he would have caught it, he could have turned it up and picked up a few more yards. But still, a completion 3rd and 5 is better than an incompletion up the field, obviously.
How about this drive? Now 11 plays. All this movement and the first flag of the day. A.J. Green, the freshman. And we'll get the call from Penn Wagers, our referee.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 8 on the offense, penalty 5 yards. Down remains 3rd.
You know, Steve, this is the most penalized team in Division I football. 54th flag of the season. And you look at it per game, 11 against Georgia Southern, the opener. They hit 12 against Arizona State and 10 flags against Alabama.
They've got 32 more penalties than their opponents. And going into the bye week, that was Mark Richt's #1 priority. You've got to stop the penalties. It's killing them.
Moore and Green set up top of your screen. Pressure. They set up the screen to the bubble screen. And the fullback is rumbling. Chappus, 5, 4, 3, and to the 1-yard line. Georgia with a first down and goal. Dennis Rogan, the right corner, took his legs out after a pickup of 37.
What a spectacular call by Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator. You're going to see Noshawn Marino on the right side of the screen waving, give me the ball over here, pulls all the attention. Look at the big boys out in front. Chris Davis and Clint Bowling out in front there, giving Chappus all he needs to see to escort down the sideline. Almost got it into the end zone.
First and goal at the 1-yard line. Try to bull it in. No signal. Touchdown, Georgia! Welcome back, Brandon Sutherland.
And oh, by the way, Mark Richt knows that's the first rushing touchdown against Tennessee in 16 consecutive quarters. Nobody scored a touchdown running the football in 4+ games.
And they have not allowed a 100-yard rusher all season long. They'll have their work cut out for him today as Blair Walsh is set to kick the extra point. And he splits the uprights. Georgia, impressive opening drive. Sutherland bangs in from a yard out. And the Bulldogs ranked 10th in the country, up by 7 on CBS. 7-0 here in Athens, Georgia. 12 plays, 79 yards, 5:36 off the clock, and Sutherland plows in from a yard out to give Georgia the lead.
Well, you know, if there is a weakness, there is only one weakness that jumps out at you about the Tennessee defense. It was that 3rd and 10. Their third down conversions on defense is they're giving up 40% of the time. That's not too good for a top-notch defense. And it killed them right there. 3rd and 10, you're thinking you need to get off the field. Instead, you give up a 35-yard screen pass down to the 2-yard line.
How about that? The two fullbacks play a key role in that opening drive.
Yep, Chappis and Sutherland.
Yeah, you want to keep your eye on A.J. and Noshawn Marino, but instead the guys in the backfield make the difference. Blair Walsh is set to kick for the 2nd time, and back to receive Rogan and Creer for Tennessee. Another good kick. 1 yard deep, no return, and Tennessee again will start at the 20-yard line. So, Steve Beuerlein, you've been in this position before. You played at Notre Dame, long NFL career. Now you're on the field, 2nd career start, 1st in the SEC. You throw a nice pass to open up your first series. You're down 7 now. What, 6 minutes later?
Well, you know, the good thing about it here, Craig, is that he's got the butterflies out of his system now. He's been out there for a series. He's got the feel. He's realizing right now it's just football. The problem is these fans here in the stadium, between the hedges, they're going to be more excited now. They're smelling blood now that Georgia's got them down 7-0.
Briscoe and Taylor, the 2 wide receivers. Stevens under center. Play clock winds down to 3. Just got the snap off. Nice cut. And that's Hardesty, Montario Hardesty, the junior out of North Carolina, with the carry.
Good physical run off that left side. Chris Scott, the left tackle, Anthony Parker, the left guard, did a super job of just pushing in that zone blocking scheme, moving the line of scrimmage a little bit, and giving Hardesty a lane to cut back, and he made a quick decision, stuck it up in there for a good 7-yard gain.
2nd down 3 after the pickup of 7. Clock is under 7. Jeff Cottom back from injury. The tight end in motion. Stevens pressured, throws, nearly intercepted and dropped by Akeem Dent, the middle linebacker. Back to Tim in New York.
All right, Craig, Ohio State strikes first in the matchup with Purdue. Malcolm Jenkins blocks this Purdue punt, and Adrian Sabino runs it in for the score. 7-0 Buckeyes. USC leads Arizona State. Mark Sanchez scores from a yard out as the beauty pageant of one-loss teams is well underway. Who's going to go down the runway and try to get to #1 in this flawed BCS system?
Timmy, you always get a little commentary, and you know what? Many agree. How about the beauty pageant line, though? That's a classic. 3rd down and 3. Stevens stands, throws, batted down at the line of scrimmage. DeMarcus Dobbs, number 58, got the hand up, and boy, making trouble for Nick Stevens.
Yeah, DeMarcus Dobbs and Rennie Curran on the 2nd down play were the ones that forced Nick Stevens to pull up and get rid of that football, take a hit. And then on 3rd down right there, DeMarcus Dobbs realizing he's not going to get the pressure up the field, watching the quarterback, and when that ball starts to come up, he jumps, gets those big paws up in the air, and knocks it down.
Colquitt back inside his own 15-yard line, needs a boot. His first punt traveled 39 yards. Another good high hanger. And this one angles to the far sideline. And up to around the 34 is Logan Gray. A 49-yard kick and a 10-yard return. There's a look at the House of Uga. Georgia on top of Tennessee by 7. Let's take a look now at our SEC moment presented by Sonic, a tribute to legendary Georgia announcer Larry Munson.
10, 12, he's running over people. Oh, you Herschel Walker. My God, a freshman. 45, 40, run, Lindsey, 25, 20, 50, 10, 5, Lindsey stop, Lindsey stop, Lindsey stop. And there's a touchdown! Touchdown, my God, a touchdown! We just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose. We just crushed their face.
The old broken nose. Larry Munson, what a guy. Announced his retirement as the play-by-play man here at Georgia, September 22nd, ending a colorful career that Steve began back in 1966. If we could all be so lucky, huh?
You wish Larry Munson well in his retirement. You know, certain things just sound right coming out of certain people's mouths. You know, we just crushed their face.
Green and Moore. Near side wide receivers. Stafford sets, fires. A.J. Green has room. And stiff arms his way for a first down. They're going to mark it out at the 46. That looks to be a gain of 11, maybe 12. Dennis Rogan may have his hands full, Steve Berline, at the right side all afternoon.
Well, A.J. Green is going to get a lot of looks from Matthew Stafford. He has proven himself very quickly to be a play-making person. He expects it out of himself, but right there, whenever Matthew Stafford sees that alignment, I'm sure he's going to take it all day long. A great job by Michael Moore, number 82, getting out there and making the block on Rogan to open up A.J. Green.
Marino and Sutherland in the backfield. Play action. Stafford sets, throws a dart. What a catch. What a hit. Massaquoi was able to hang on. How, I don't know. Morley, the free safety, took a free shot at him.
Well, it was a play action, but a blitz by Tennessee. One-on-one coverage across the field. You had nobody between Massaquoi and the free safety back there. Look what happened to Matthew Stafford. He knew pressure was coming, got set up strong in the pocket, delivered a strike. He's a big, strong quarterback, showing he can take a hit.
Yeah, Wes Brown said hello. And the Bulldogs on the move again. 1st and 10 as the clock runs under 6 minutes here in the opening quarter. 34-yard line, the pitch. Knowshon Moreno. Bounces out of bounds around the 29-yard line. Sutherland, another good block. I mean, he's in there for a reason. He is the lead blocker for Marino and Caleb King. And then, as we saw earlier, they're going to try to throw to him as well.
Well, you can see the commitment to Knowshon Moreno. He's been involved, whether it be as a decoy on the screen pass on 3rd down last series, or to get the ball running the sweeps to both sides. He's got to get the football, and that's what opens up the play-action pass that Matt Stafford hit on the play before. The linebackers suck up to try and make the tackle. There's room over the top.
Movement. And flags.
Robert Ayers, I think the right defensive end, jumped off sides.
Or did Ben Jones, the center, do a little...
No, he snapped it, I think, when Ayers stepped off sides.
And then Stafford took the knee. We'll get the call from Penn Wagers.
Prior to the snap, offside, 91 on the defense, 25 yards, down remains 2nd.
Ayers, the senior from South Carolina. About Monday on the Late Show, Dave welcomes Sarah Silverman and the Tuttles from American Chopper. Later this week, don't miss Josh Brolin, Nicole Richie, Martin Short, and Tina Fey. Dave's all new, all this week, only on CBS. Massaquoi in motion, handoff right up the middle. Marino spins for about 3 to the 21. Walter Fisher, the left tackle, made the stop for Tennessee. And Steve, you got to remember, Tennessee's defense, they don't let opponents score much. In fact, just under 17 points a ball game. There's John Chavis, the D coordinator in his 14th year, former player with the Volunteers. But you know what? This is one of the stingiest defenses in football.
They really only giving up 244 yards a game, number 5 in the country. It doesn't have, they're not used to it. It just shows that the game plan for Georgia is really keeping them off guard.
Stafford sets, fires over the top, and dropped. Oh, that was 6. And A.J. Green will beat himself up. He told us no one works harder than A.J. Green, and he should have had 6.
Oh, it does not get any easier than that. There's absolutely no excuse for this. Look at Matthew Stafford, the shot that he takes on this hit again from Robert Ayers. That was a clean shot. Vince Vance just got worked on that play, and A.J. Green making the nice move down the middle of the field. It does not get any easier than that. And I'll tell you, it makes Matthew Stafford's shot that he took on that play hurt a little bit more, too, when it doesn't result in a touchdown.
Stafford, 6 of his last 7. Should have been 7 for 7. Pitch. Marino sheds one blocker, sidesteps another. Power and speed. Knowshon Moreno to the 17-yard line.
Well, Craig, what you saw on this play, Tennessee shifted late into a great strong side run defense. They shifted up into the old 46 defense that the Chicago Bears made famous, and there shouldn't be much there, but you see the talent of Knowshon Moreno making people miss in the backfield, and then 2 or 3 more guys up the field picking up 5 yards on a play that should have been hit for a no gain at the most.
Under 3.5 to play in the opening quarter. 3rd down and 6, Georgia. Stafford sets up. Man coverage up top, incomplete. Wanted to get the jump ball for A.J. Green, and Willingham was there to shut it down.
Well, I think that A.J. Green, you watch right here when he gets up over the top, he needs to keep going to the back of the end zone. He kind of pulls up right there. See that? He doesn't have a chance to catch that football. You could term that maybe a freshman mistake. Maybe he determined that he could jump up quick enough and get that thing, but the ball was over him quicker than he was ready to make that jump. So I would have liked to have seen him keep going up the field a little bit more, then adjust later to the football.
So Blair Walsh, 6 of 8 in field goals on the season. Boots one in, and it's good from 34 yards. 34-yard field goal. Blair Walsh. And Georgia now leads by 10. .3:13 to play. We're in Athens, Georgia. Welcome back, Athens, Georgia, and the 10th-ranked Bulldogs up by 10 here in the opening quarter over Tennessee. 8 plays, 49 yards, led by that young man, Matthew Stafford, and Blair Walsh boots a 34-yard field goal. 2:59 officially off the clock on that drive. Stafford throwing out some high fives on that sideline.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford knows he should have had a touchdown out of that drive, and Tennessee needs to consider themselves very lucky they're not down 14-0. And you know, we talked before the game this past week on Tuesday with a lot of the Tennessee players. And Wes Brown, the defensive lineman, told us every game in the SEC is a must-win. This one as much as any, for sure, for obvious reasons, but right here, I consider this a must-score drive for Tennessee to stay in this ball game. It can't get out of hand because they're not built to come back with a young quarterback at this point.
3rd time here in the quarter. Another strong kick taken at the 1-yard line. Rogan at the 20. Lowers the pads, and he'll push his way to the 24. Let's go back to the studio for a Liberty Mutual update.
All right, Craig, for your Golden Domer there by your side, he knows the Irish have never been 4-1 and not been ranked in the top 25. Here, Jimmy Clausen stays hot, hitting Golden Tate from 19 yards out. Casey Barth has added a field goal for North Carolina. 7-3 Irish. Back to you.
Well, I can't get too excited. I'm not supposed to, but I'll tell you, I'm scared about that game. North Carolina, Butch Davis doing a heck of a job down there with that football team.
Tennessee with the ball for the 3rd time, down by 10. Handoff, Lennon Creer. Back at the, maybe a loss of 1. Well, Nick Stevens so far, well, not an easy opening quarter. He's been bumped and knocked around from the start.
Yes, he has. And, you know, Geno Atkins, the All-American defensive tackle, told us, he said they're going to introduce Nick Stevens to SEC football today. And so far, they're doing a pretty good job of it. He's been knocked down a few times in his first 2 drives. He's got to show he can stand in there and make plays from this point on.
Rennie Curran, 35. The outside linebacker just said hello. Little pitch. Here trying to follow blockers, not much. Out of bounds at the 26-yard line. It was Gamble and Rashad Jones, a linebacker and a free safety, chasing down that play.
Well, look at how this Georgia defense is going to get to the football. You see all the jerseys. Look at all those red jerseys across. A big wall right there of people just coming to support the run. And that's what they're going to do. Offensively, the Tennessee Volunteers knew that they're going to be playing the run, stop Arian Foster, put the pressure on Nick Stevens like this right here. 3rd and 8, he's got to make a play.
And the 12th man is up. The sellout crowd. Pressure on Stevens takes a seat. Off the edge came Prince Miller.
It's one of those things. Watch right here. Prince Miller over the slot right here. He's just going to come straight from the blind side of Nick Stevens. You can tell Nick Stevens never even sees him. He's looking up the field, and boom, it's right there. That's a rookie. That's a young player seeing some things for the first time against a big-time defense.
Colquitt, the punt, gets a bounce. Prince Miller picks it up. Watch out. 50 makes a cut at the 45, 40. And Miller running like a prince to the 36. He's doing it all.
Well, I'll tell you what, 92-yard return a couple weeks ago against Alabama, and this Tennessee punt return team has given up 2 punt return touchdowns this year already. Prince Miller looking like he knows what he's doing. Against Alabama, it was his first punt return of the year. 92 yards for a touchdown right there. Under control, scoops the ball up, and then knows how to get north and south. A big return, putting them in great field position one more time.
27-yard return by Prince Miller after he came off the edge for the sack. And now Georgia with a chance to really open this game up in the opening quarter. 55 ticks to play up the middle, and that hole was shut down quickly. Looked like Marino had big running room, but Big Dan Williams, 310-pounder, stepped up and closed the hole.
Well, Craig, we've made it very clear that this Tennessee Volunteer defense is unrespected, I think, throughout the country for how good they are. They need to stand up right now and start showing how good they are. This is what they've been doing all year to keep their team in business in the ball games. They've been able to answer the bell. This Georgia Bulldog team's a little different animal today, though. They're ready to play, but Tennessee needs to shut them down on this drive.
Had that extra week of practice after the loss to Alabama 2 weeks ago here at Sanford Stadium. Set it up, it's thrown, and it's caught by Green. Good read by Tennessee's defense. A host of white jerseys in there, led by Rogan, the right corner. And that's going to end the first quarter with the score Georgia on top by 10. We'll return to Sanford Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the SEC on CBS. After one quarter, Georgia on top of Tennessee. Bulldogs ranked 10th in the country. And see, if you take a look at numbers in that first quarter of play, 20 yards of total offense for Tennessee.
That's not going to win you any ball games. 1 first down against a good Georgia defense. But there have been opportunities for Nick Stevens to make a couple plays early in this game. And he made the one on the opening play, but that's really been about it. In the running game, -5 yards rushing right now for Tennessee. The 20 yards plus comes from the 1 pass completion on the first play of the game for 25 yards. That's not going to win you many ball games.
Third down and 9 as we start the second quarter here in Athens. Stafford shotgun, fires it up there the middle. Oh, what a grab by Massaquoi at the 6-yard line.
Well, it looks like Dennis Rogan, number 41 for Tennessee, is going to be getting a lot of action today, whether it's Mohamed Massaquoi or A.J. Green. There's been a lot of balls thrown to this side, and right there, Matthew Stafford, no hesitation, does a great job laying that ball up over the top of the linebacker, puts it on the money.
Oh, as a former quarterback, you got to appreciate the effort of Massaquoi as he reaches out. 28-yard pickup on the ground. Marino shut down, no gain, maybe a yard to the 6. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white jerseys on top of Knowshon Marino.
And again, down in the red zone already against the Tennessee defense. One of the very best in the country, number 2 in the SEC, giving up touchdowns only 38.5% of the time. But if they're there all day, things are going to end up breaking at some point. Matthew Stafford, his team look very comfortable down there right now.
Georgia today for 2 for 2 in the red zone. A touchdown and a field goal. Looking for more. Stafford looked like a busted play, but got back to the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden what looked to be a promising drive. 3rd down and goal at the 7-yard line, and Adam Myers-White was in there.
That was not a broken play, Craig. The action's going to be they're faking the pitch to the left side, and then Matthew Stafford's going to turn around and come this way on his own. Super job. Actually, you know what? I take that back.
Steve, that looked busted.
It did. You were 100% right. I thought it was a fake pitch going in, but there were too much going to that left side for Matthew Stafford to be coming out on his own this way.
3 wide receiver set. Stafford starts in the shotgun. Looks like a little change up of the line. Play clock down to 1. Just got it away in the corner. And trying to get the jump ball again. He went with A.J. Green in the first quarter. This time Massaquoi, and a flag down in the end zone. Massaquoi was battling Willingham, the left corner.
I don't know which way this is going to go. There was some contact both sides of the ball. One thing that's also been established early, Craig, they've thrown a lot of fades to the right side down by the end zone. That time, Mohamed Massaquoi, he's 6'2", 200 pounds. A.J. Green is 6'4", 205 pounds. They like the matchup on D'Angelo Willingham, the cornerback on the right side of their offensive right, and they've taken several shots at it.
Holding, number 24 on the defense. Penalties half the distance to the goal. Down remains 3rd.
So the down remains 3rd, and Willingham whistle for the infraction.
And there's just a little, you can see the right hand of Willingham, although I'll tell you.
Is that a catchable ball?
I think it was definitely a catchable ball, but I don't think it was really a hold that affected the play much whatsoever. It was, the arm was out. There wasn't a whole lot of contact, but by strict definition, I guess you could call it because there was a little bit of contact.
3rd down at the 3.5-yard line. 3rd and goal, I formation. Stafford sets, goes up top, and complete. This time it was A.J. Green. And that brings up 4th down.
And if I'm D'Angelo Willingham, I'm saying, okay, I now know your playbook down by the red zone. That's the 3rd fade pattern in the right-hand corner of the end zone on him. And what I have not seen yet is good timing and good execution out of Georgia, whether it be Massaquoi or A.J. Green on that right side. They seem to be misjudging where that ball is going to be, or maybe Matthew Stafford's missing the throw.
Walsh is in. 20-yard field goal, a chip shot, good. So Walsh is hit 2, one from 34 and the other from 20. And Georgia now opens up a 13-point lead on Tennessee. 12:54 to play. Volunteers will have it when we come back on CBS. $12:54 to play in the first half. Georgia on top of Tennessee 13-0. 7 plays, 33 yards, 3:01 off the clock, and Walsh chips in a field goal from 20. You know, see, we were talking during the commercial break. It's 13-0, and really I think Tennessee has to be well, how about a little relieved it's not 21-0.
No doubt about it. They very easily could be down 21-0, and really should be. You know, the more I think about it, it looks to me like the game plan definitely is to try to go to those big receivers in the corner. They want to make it a jump ball, and it just hasn't been happening for them. And Tennessee been able to come out of it relatively unscathed.
So Walsh set to kick from the 30. Short. Taking it to 15 and right up the middle. Good return, one of the better field positions for Tennessee. They'll mark it at the 37-yard line, and a big one tonight on CBS. Primetime special, number 3 LSU and against the 12th ranked Gators of Florida. That's tonight, 8 Eastern here on CBS. LSU, Steve 4-0, the Gators 4-1. And you look at the passing yards, Tebow, 1,000 yards and change. 23 total touchdowns. My, oh my. Tune in tonight, CBS.
It will be a dandy.
Tennessee at the 39. Stevens sets up the screen, trying to take some pressure off from that front of Georgia, and a near first down Let's go back. Tim Brando in New York City. Timmy?
All right, fellas, another set of Bulldogs. That of Mississippi State. Tyson Lee is going to throw it 5 yards to Brandon Henderson. And Mississippi State leads unbeaten Vanderbilt by 3. And back to those dandies between the hedges.
All right, Timmy, and you know what? Just hang on. That football game's going to bounce around all day.
It is.
That one's going to bounce around.
Yep. Looks like Mississippi State's going to make Vandy show up and play some football.
Second first down of the game for Tennessee. Right at midfield. Handoff and squeezing through for a couple, maybe 3. Foster. And we look at the coaches' top 10, and how about starting off the day with number 1 going down to Texas in a shootout, Steve? 45-35. Of course, LSU chomping at the bit. So's Missouri.
Yeah, there's. I'll tell you, you never know in college football, and everybody thinks Oklahoma's unbeatable. Well, no one told Texas, and they showed up. What a tremendous football game that was. So we already know there's going to be significant shakeup this week in the top 10.
Second down, 7. Nick Stevens throws and dropped. Gerald Jones, sure-handed, could not hang on. You know, that's just a case of trying to turn up field and do something before you have possession.
Yes, it was. We're seeing Dave Clawson make a concerted effort, the offensive coordinator for Tennessee right now, to try and slow down some of the pressure Georgia's bringing. We saw a good call with a screen pass on first down. Anthony Parker, the left guard, did a super job getting outside and helping Arian Foster pop that thing for a nice gain and a first down. And then right here on second down, another quick screen to the wide receiver, Gerald Jones. He's got to make that catch and try and make something out of it if this team wants to get any rhythm going.
Tennessee 0 for 3 on third down conversion. Shot. Play clock. Did he get it off? He did. Worked it down to 1. Fires. Caught. Short of the first down at the 45-yard line. And Lucas Taylor brought it down, but short by about 4.5 yards. Good pop by Prince Miller.
And Phil Fulmer, he's deciding to go ahead and kick it away here. I thought he was going to think about whether or not he should go for it at this point. Had he been down by another touchdown, if I think Georgia would have scored a touchdown on one of their last 2 drives, there would have been more pressure on him to try and go for the 4th down conversion. But now being down only 1 touchdown, I think this is the right decision.
4th punt for Britton Colquitt. They try to punch it inside the 10-yard line. Good hanger. Takes a pop right at the 5. Oh, Tennessee, they were down there on coverage. That ball just took a wicked hop off the grass at the 3. CBS Sports coverage of the Home Depot SEC will continue after this word from your local station. How about the freshman class of first-year coaches? You know, you see Bo Pelini, 3-2. Michigan took a hit today, by the way, and Houston Nutt, you think of him as a Razorback? Well, now he's at Ole Miss, and they're playing 500 football.
Yeah, knocked off Florida a few weeks back, too. Big upset, getting people believing down there. And David Cutcliffe, the former offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Volunteers, his first year at Duke. They had a couple of humbling experiences the last few weeks, but boy, to come out and have 3 wins at this point in the season, that's a big turnaround for that program.
And Coach Cutcliffe, of course, very close to Philip Fulmer. Coach Fulmer told us earlier this week, yeah, they exchange text messages, phone calls once or twice a week. Yards have been hard to come by for Tennessee. Georgia up 13 with the football, and 10:31 to play here in the opening half. Tennessee, Steve, they need a stop. They need a stop defensively.
You know, it's pretty easy when you're used to watching football like this. There's a game plan here that's being implemented very well by Georgia. We'll talk about it in a second here.
Prior to snap, offside, 95 on the defense, only 5 yards, down remains 1.
Walter Fisher.
The way that this Georgia offense is mixing up the snap count, as soon as the center sees someone on Tennessee jump off sides, he's snapping it. Matt Stafford's taking a knee. That's something they've talked about all week in practice, and they're going to try and keep Tennessee off guard with that snap count.
Stafford backs off, goes through his audibles. 1st and 5, handoff. Oh, what a spin.
Ooh.
Marino thought for just a moment he was going to break it. Alex Wilson, the middle linebacker out of Memphis, Tennessee, with the tackle.
Craig, that was one of those moves that would, I'd get hurt trying to make that little spin move right there. But
left your left hip back
yes,
in the backfield.
But Phil Fulmer made a comment. It was very telling. He said, Knowshon Moreno, he's the one that makes this offense go, but Matthew Stafford is the one that makes you pay. So if they've got that running game going, Stafford then gets the one-on-one matchups he wants, and that's how they hurt you.
Under 10 minutes of play. Well, that was nicely read. No going there as Ayers said hello to Moreno. Boy, snipped it out. Talked about the defense needing to make a stand. Here, they're putting one together.
Straight up the field, Robert Ayers does a great job. I don't know exactly what the design of that play was, but no one blocked the most dangerous man on the field in terms of Tennessee's defense. Robert Ayers looking at the play right in front of him the whole time, and just boom, straight down the field. Now maybe Mike Bobo's trying to set up something, or maybe a quarterback bootleg off of that coming later, but that didn't look too nice right there.
Third down at 7, 3 wide receivers to the near side. Stafford sets up and throws a dart, nearly picked off, incomplete, threw into coverage.
Yeah, there come the flags.
Adam Myers-White draws 1-2 hankies down at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about this one. It was good. They were in good position to make the play, but the contact was way too early. The ball was not anywhere near more when contact was made.
And we'll get the call from Penn Wagers. Been a busy second quarter for his crew.
Pass interference. Number 48 on the defense. Penalty 15 yards. Automatic. First down.
Yeah, Myers-White and an automatic first down.
Yeah, you're going to see. Well, you know what? I again have to take from the angle up here. It looked like that contact was early, but you show that angle right there again. I think the timing was pretty darn solid. I don't know exactly what the problem was the officials had there.
Fourth penalty, 27 yards, whistle against Tennessee. It's 1st and 10 in the second quarter at the 38-yard line. Moreno, the pitch, has room. He's outside. Oh, what a spin up midfield, and it crawls his way to the 48-yard line. You cannot let up on Knowshon Moreno. Well, did Clint Bowling just take the edge away and pop him loose?
Well, it was. I'll tell you what, I want to talk real quick, Craig, about this play right here. You're going to look and see, because I think it was a pivotal play, 3rd and long. There's no contact right there at all at this point. You see the ball coming in, and right there, no doubt that Myers-White was just going for the football to make the play. I think Georgia got away with one there, and sure enough, Moreno never ceases to amaze anytime he gets that football.
11 carries for 51 yards. He's taken a breather. Caleb King with the carry. Let's go back to New York, and here's Tim Brando.
All right, fellas, Mark Sanchez already has a touchdown run here. A pass to Arkansas transfer Damian Williams. Yes, one of the Springdale 5 that bailed on the Razorbacks a year ago. 14-0 Trojans over Arizona State. Back to you.
So the Trojans up by 14, seeking their 400th victory in the Coliseum. And we got an injured Bulldog. That's the left tackle, Vince Vance. And the trainers on the field. We'll take a quick break. Bulldogs up by 13. Well, Vince Vance getting some help off the field. Steve is a mountain of a man, 6'8", 325. See if we can't pick up and see what happened.
Well, you know, the last thing you can see right there, you got the right knee of the defender and the right knee of Vince Vance is coming in together, and that's how injuries happen. You hope it's nothing serious for Vince Vance, especially on his birthday, like you pointed out there, Craig.
Yeah, 21 years young. And you know what, Vince Vance, most offensive linemen wear those knee braces. That could have been even worse without the brace.
Well, it forces a further shuffling of this Georgia offensive line. You now got the right guard going over to the left side. That was Bowling going to left tackle now.
Stafford to Sutherland.
Green pass to number 6.
Wes Brown brings him down, but there's another example of the value of the fullback, Brandon Sutherland.
Yeah, you see the added value that he brings, Craig. Good terminology there. The blitz is coming. Matthew Stafford patient back there in the pocket. Sutherland good job selling on the outside, and then the big boys out in front. No doubt about it. These guys know what they're doing on the out there in open space. Chris Davis, number 63, leading the way down the sideline for Sutherland.
Matthew Stafford, 10 of 15 throwing for 125 yards and a first down for the Bulldogs. Play action. Stafford sets that ball's batted down incomplete at the 25-yard line. Well, now you can catch the SEC online. Log on to cbssports.com/college football live and get the CBS Game of the Week streamed live. SEC online anytime.
Well, Craig, on that play right there, I think Matthew Stafford's actually kind of fortunate that ball was batted down. Rico McCoy, the linebacker on the backside of that play, I think was sniffing it out pretty good and might have had a chance to intercept that ball.
7th play of this drive, 2nd down and 10. Georgia at the Tennessee 38-yard line. Stafford went through his progression. He looked near side, and then he threw middle of the field to Harris, the senior from Cherryville, North Carolina, and Wilson, the middle linebacker, with another hit and a takedown.
Good, solid tackle. I like the decision making by Matthew Stafford, though, on 2nd down. Doesn't seem like much, picking up 4 or 5 yards, but 3rd and 5 to 6 yards is much easier to convert on than 3rd and 10, and that's what he did not do against Alabama.
7 minutes to play in the first half, and Stafford steps back into the shotgun. Stafford sets, throws a dart, wide open. First down and more. D'Amico Goodman, the senior, with his 5th catch of the season. And I like the run after the catch.
Great play design, fantastic timing. Here's D'Amico Goodman, right? Whoa, right there, look at that. He goes up and runs a hook up the field, but the underneath route is what opened it up. You see right there, the back coming underneath. Sutherland pulls the linebacker out from underneath, and then D'Amico Goodman just hooks it up inside Matthew Stafford. No hesitation, no doubt where he's going with that football.
How about the balance on this drive? 4 passes, 4 rushes. He's had 6 different receivers in this ball game. The handoff, Marino trying that left side. He's dropped down around the 11 or 12 yard line. Knowshon Marino averages about 98 yards a ball game, and today, Steve, he's done about everything here in the first half.
He sure has, and he's showing his versatility. They like to get him the football in a lot of different ways, and they're doing that pirouette again. He's pulled it out a couple of times today, but the bottom line, this guy is one of the most talented running backs in football. 52 carries, 52 yards a day on 12 carries.
Marino in motion. Stafford throws. Oh, picked off! And the big fella from the right side, Robert Ayers.
Well, I think Matthew Stafford, it was that same screenplay they've run 2 times earlier. He looks to the right, fakes it, and then has no idea that the defensive end, Robert Ayers, is dropping in the coverage. There was a lot of action going on to Matthew Stafford's right side. They were faking a blitz. They were coming from that right side. Robert Ayers playing what is called a zone blitz, dropping back into coverage and read it perfectly. Matthew Stafford never saw it.
2nd interception thrown by Stafford this season. Hardesty in the backfield for Tennessee. What can they do here with less than 6 minutes to play in the half and down by 13? Not much as a sea of red.
Well,
Make the tackle, Steve, down at the 24.
Now, what can you say about this Tennessee defense? Rising to the challenge, rising to the occasion, time in and time out today, being put in bad situations like they've been all year. I'd really like to see Tennessee on offense come down. They're trying to run the ball on 1st down, giving themselves 2nd and long for the most part. They need to mix it up a little bit more on 1st down, throw some play action in there, maybe move the pocket a little bit with Nick Stevens to try and get themselves an opportunity to make a play outside up the field.
10th interception of the season for Tennessee, and now the Volunteers will call their first timeout with 4:45 to play and down 13 in Athens. Well, Steve, here's an argument, and a lot of people talk. If you beat number 1, why can't you elevate to 1? Texas is now unbeaten. They just knocked off mighty Oklahoma.
That is an argument. There's no doubt about it. And I'll tell you what, I think Missouri and LSU might have something to say about that Alabama as well. But here we are. Now, Tennessee coming out in the G-gun with Gerald Jones at quarterback. They've actually got Nick Stevens split out on the right side of your screen. Right over here, that's Nick Stevens, the quarterback.
So some trickery here by Phillip Fulmer in the first half. Down 13. Jones takes the direct snap, tucks the football, tries to stick on his way, and is taken down by a sea of red at the 25-yard line. Gamble was there, and a host of Bulldogs.
Well, you're going to see Asher Allen, number 2, the corner who's lined up over Nick Stevens. Coming off the edge, it was a blitz. We're going to get the penalty call here first.
Offside. Number 2 on the defense. Penalty 5 yards. Down remain second.
Asher Allen, whistle for the infraction.
Here's Asher Allen right there coming off the blitz. They're not going to cover Nick Stevens up there on the top. I don't think many people expect Tennessee to throw the football out to their quarterback on the outside. A good job of game planning and pursuing to the football by Georgia, but the outside's, again, a very untimely penalty on Georgia.
Second down and 3, right up the gut. Hardesty, and takes a host of Bulldogs with him to the 35-yard line. That's a first down for the Volunteers. Gamble again and on the tackle.
And that right there was one of the best runs of the day by Tennessee. Straight ahead. And I'll tell you what, there's an argument to be made that the best way to attack a good defense like the Georgia Bulldogs and vice versa, like going at the Tennessee Volunteers, is to go right at them. They're so fast, they're so athletic. If you let them string out a play, they will. Knock them off the ball, go right at them. It worked very well for Tennessee that time.
Under 4 minutes of play and a half. Tennessee trying to get some points on the board before the break. Play action, Stevens all day to throw. Launches deep. Has single coverage. Inside the 5 is Moore. Denarius Moore caught the long ball last week against Northern Illinois. A 52-yard catch, and Tennessee's in business at the 4-yard line.
Well, guess what, Craig? First down play action like we've been talking about. That's the way to go attack them. You see right there the arm of Nick Stevens and Denarius Moore. Coincidentally, the 2 that hooked up for the 52-yard touchdown last week on the exact same play against Northern Illinois.
And that combination, they connect for 60. First and goal, Tennessee at the 4-yard line. Pitch, Hardesty. Taken down inside the 2-yard line.
Now, one of the things that's been plaguing Tennessee down here in the red zone, they're only scoring touchdowns less than 60% of the time, but they've had 3 turnovers this year in the red zone, which is about as big a no-no as you can have. So, you know, we heard Nick Stevens in the open talking about protecting the football. Tennessee has got to protect the football and find a way to get it in the end zone right here.
Second down and goal. Cooper and Hardesty in the backfield. From the I formation. Stevens dancing, throws, and into the front row. Smart move. You live to play another day, right?
No doubt, Craig. That was a very smart move. It wasn't there. Georgia did a great job of sniffing out the play action. And Nick Stevens did the right thing. You know, try and buy a little extra time, but do not take a sack in that situation. Throw the ball out of there where only Phil Fulmer could catch it on the sidelines. That was one thing Lou Holtz always told me. He said, Berline, if there's nobody open on the field, I've never been covered yet. I'm always wide open.
Lou Holtz, the one and only. Third down and goal for Tennessee. Lucas Taylor in motion. Touchdown, Tennessee! Gerald Jones and the toss from Stevens. What a confidence builder for that young sophomore.
Just what the doctor ordered if you're Phil Fulmer and the Volunteers right there.
Well, the key play was the 60-yard pass to Moore.
On first down, come out. That's the way I think you need to attack this Georgia defense.
Lincoln with the point after attempt, and it's good. Just 6 plays, 77 yards, and Stevens with the touchdown. And the Volunteers are back in it late here in the second quarter. 2:23 to play on CBS. Stevens comes up big. 2-yard touchdown to Gerald Jones. And let's take a look now at the Home Depot tools for success.
Well, Craig, we mentioned that last week, that same long pass play from Nick Stevens and Denarius Moore. This is it. Northern Illinois did the same thing, gave these guys a chance to make a play, and they paid for it. Well, today, here it is again. Tennessee needed something positive to happen. That's it. Go back to Old Faithful, make it happen. Then the payoff pitch, the quick little rollout, throw and catch between Nick Stevens and Gerald Jones. That's a touchdown, and that's our Home Depot tools for success.
First SEC touchdown toss by Nick Stevens, one he'll remember, and the third touchdown grab of the season for Gerald Jones. 3:06 off the clock, 6 plays. And again, it's that 60-yard strike from Stevens to Moore that set it all up.
And again, though, Craig, you cannot overemphasize the job that this Tennessee defense does for this football team. This game could easily have been out of hand by now if they have not stepped up and kept this ball club in the ball game. And then you get the big plays out of the offense, and there you go.
Short kick. That ball bounces inside the 5, and the Bulldogs are taken down at the 2-yard line. Boy, all of a sudden you get a little feel that momentum shifting here in Athens.
And no doubt, and right before the half, you see right there was some miscommunication without a doubt on the play. The ball went right through the legs of the return man Samuel right there. I think he really felt like one of the short guys would come back and catch it because it was a short kick. Turns out he was kind of left on his own, went up to try and play it off a hop, and it took a bad hop right through his legs. You know, that football is not round, Craig. You don't know how it's going to bounce all the time.
Yeah, Frazier with the special teams tackle. And Georgia now up by a count of 13-7, but deep in their own territory at the 3-yard line. They're going to try to punch it out with Marino. And no gain. And coming up with a Geico halftime report, what a day it's been. Join Tim, Spencer Tillman, and Tony Barnhart. And they're going to get you caught up on all the scores, all the highlights. Very busy day in college football. That's coming up on the Geico halftime report. And I have a feeling, I know Spencer Tillman will, as do you. I think he's a former Sooner. I wouldn't want to be around him at halftime.
He's going to be a little grumpy.
No, I don't want to be around Spencer today.
Hey, I think what you're going to see right here, Craig, if Tennessee can stop Georgia, Georgia's trying to milk the clock. If they stop him on this play, you'll see a timeout by Phil Fulmer.
Again, not much. To the 5 is Marino. Berry is there, the strong safety.
And there's the timeout.
Yep, there's a timeout. 1 remaining now for Tennessee.
And they're going to put pressure on. They're going to put pressure on Georgia to try and make a play out of their own end zone, which is exactly what Phil Fulmer wants.
So Stafford walks to the sideline to talk it over with Mark Ricks. Timeout. We'll be back. Well, a touchdown by Tennessee and a missed handled kickoff has put Georgia in a hole. Steve, Tennessee calls a timeout. It's very simple. Phil Fulmer wants to try to get the ball back and at least get 3 off the foot of Dan Lincoln before halftime. Impossible.
Exactly. And you're saying, Georgia, let's see if you can make a play, or you're going to give the ball back to us right now with over a minute left, and we're going to have a chance to get at least a field goal out of it.
So Matthew Stafford on 3rd down and 8, lines up, shotgun in his own end zone, rolls out, throws over the top, caught. Marino breaks one tackle, and a first down. Yes, Georgia can and did make the play to the 19-yard line.
And a really safe play, safe call. You're going to see Noshawn Marino right here on the right side of your screen there. He's going to come down over the middle. He was wide open from the get-go, but Matthew Stafford bought a little extra time moving out of the pocket to the right. And Noshawn Marino, I'm very surprised that Tennessee did not challenge with some kind of pressure on that play. Knowshon Moreno, the linebackers were very deep and gave up that easy short throw to Matthew Stafford.
Clock rolling up on a minute to play. Stafford stands up in that pocket, throws a strike, Massaquoi, and all of a sudden now Georgia moving the chains again to the 33-yard line. Brent Vincent, the left corner, with the tackle.
Yeah, that shows the confidence that Mark Richt and Mike Bobo have in quarterback Matthew Stafford. There's less than a minute left in the half here, but they're saying, you know what? Let's see if we can get something out of it now.
1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. Stafford sets up, throws deep ball, has man coverage. Oh! Nearly a one-handed grab. Or did he get it?
No, they're throwing a flag.
Massaquoi was nailed by Morley, the free safety.
I'm not really sure what the penalty is. I was about to say the one thing you got to be careful of against this Tennessee defense. They've got 9 interceptions on the year. That was almost number 10 right there. It was a hit coming over by the free safety, Demetrius Morley. And
that a hit in the head?
No, it isn't. It isn't a hit in the head. That was a shoulder. You can see the right shoulder went into the chest. It was a solid hit.
Personal foul. Wow. Contact to the helmet. Number 7. A defense. Automatic. First down.
All right, let's listen in on this hit. Morley on Massaquoi.
All right, you're going to see right here. Watch the contact right there. There's nothing wrong with that hit, I don't think. The right shoulder is in the chest of the wide receiver, Mohamed Massaquoi. I think that Georgia's getting a significant break on that play right there. I feel bad for the hit on Mohamed Massaquoi, but, you know, this is football. And that hit right there was, it wasn't a blow to the head. And there's Massaquoi up.
And now a few words, and Marino is right there. Massaquoi, I don't know if he knew a flag was thrown. Now he does. Well, you saw the face mask, though, Steve. The pads bit that face mask down.
It was not a head-to-head contact. He's going for the ball. They're making a play. I don't think that was a blow to the head that should have been called.
Richard Samuel breaks one, 2 tackles, and fights his way past midfield to the 49. Robert Ayers had to bring him down.
I think from behind the play, Craig, it looked like maybe there was head-to-head contact from where the official was.
Timeout. 35 ticks left here in the first half, and we'll be back. Back in Athens, sold out Sanford Stadium, over 97,000 to watch Georgia and Tennessee. It's become a physical second quarter and sets the stage for an exciting second half. 35 seconds to play. 13-7. Tennessee struck on their last offensive series. Stevens a touchdown toss to Gerald Jones to break the scoring drought and really tighten this game up. Georgia's had some multiple chances to break it open, but been held to field goals late in the first and early second quarter. So Stafford sets up in that pocket, throws it over the middle. Oh, nice move. Goodman shakes it to the sideline, stops the clock out of bounds. And Steve, you're right. Mark Richt was thinking, let's get 3 more or 6 on the board.
Exactly right. And when you got that many playmakers on the field and you're helped by a questionable call on a penalty like that too, you're going to try and cash in for sure.
And another flag.
After the play over, personal foul. Number 24 on the defense. Penalty will be 15 yards from the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
All right, Tennessee's frustrated, yes, but this is the time you have got to hold it together.
No doubt about it.
You close the gap to 6, and all of a sudden Georgia's going to move from their 3-yard line, and they're knocking on the door with 26 seconds to play.
Well, D'Angelo Willingham is a senior. He knows better than that. You got to keep your composure. This is a Georgia team that you've gotten your offense off the hook a few times, but you can't keep giving them these kind of chances at the end zone.
2 timeouts remaining for Georgia. 26 seconds to play in the quarter. That's A.J. Green, bottom of your screen, number 8. Alongside in the slots, Michael Moore. in motion. Stafford looks his way, throws on the slant, incomplete. Incomplete. Goodman, the intended receiver, and up off the grass comes Stafford.
And Matthew Stafford got absolutely drilled on this play. Look at that hit. That, I'm telling you folks, that hurts. And that was Dan Williams right up the middle. The junior throwing all 310 pounds right on the rib cage of Matthew Stafford. That's one that Matthew will feel tomorrow morning. Trust me.
And see, there was a day Dan Williams weighed a little bit more than 310 pounds. 21 seconds to play. Second down 10. From the 16-yard line. Stafford, pressure. Throws it up over the top. Inside 10-yard line. Green with the reception. Alex Wilson, the middle linebacker, with the tackle. So the clock is at 14. And Georgia burns another timeout. They have one remaining.
It was just the same exact formation that Georgia ran the previous play. They're trying to get it to the backside. Mohamed Massaquoi. Well, right now, here's A.J. Green right here. You're going to see he's going to come straight across the field after everything else is cleared out up the field, and there's going to be nothing underneath. Good job of Matthew Stafford reading the coverage properly and coming to the right man for a nice gain. Good open field tackle there, but the damage has already been done.
Now Stafford came over to talk to Mike Bobo, took off those headsets. Georgia, by the way, 4-7 on third down tries today. You run it, you try to go man coverage and try to lob that ball, and a jump ball for A.J. Green, who goes 6'4". What do you think?
Well, you got one timeout left, 14 seconds. Really, probably only time for two quick plays and then maybe a field goal. But really, you can't count on more than one, depending on how long this play takes. But you know, you can go with the element of surprise, try and pop a draw to your playmaker, Knowshon Moreno, right up the middle, and then call a timeout if he doesn't get it.
Ninth play of this drive. Stafford takes a snap, looks, fires a dart, wide open, touchdown, Georgia! Mohamed Massaquoi.
Man, you give this Georgia offense this many chances, whether they're by breakdowns on your part or help from a couple of calls here or there or just big plays, they're going to make you pay at some point.
So Blair Walsh will kick the extra point and splits the uprights. Georgia marches 97 yards and leads 20-7.
Well, this right here is Knowshon Moreno right here. You want to see what it takes to be a good football team. Everybody's got to do their part. Ooh, that is called a chip block to the max right there on Ben Martin for the touchdown. All these little things contribute to a play being successful or not successful. Marcus Allen was the best I ever played with that chip block, but then right there, Mohamed Massaquoi taking advantage of the blown coverage. Matthew Stafford making the read, delivering the ball on time for a strike. But Knowshon Moreno, don't be mistaken, he does a heck of a lot more for this football team than just run it. He is a team player. You look at him on film, these defensive ends know that if he's on their side, they better be aware of him. Ben Martin right there, he found the hard way.
How about the drive? 9 plays, 97 yards. Georgia uses her timeouts to perfection. Short kick at the 21-yard line. It's Creer. Tries to slide his way back to midfield and is dropped at the 32-yard line. Andrew Williams with the special teams tackle, number 47. I'll tell you, that drive is amazing. I mean, Tennessee did not help themselves one bit with penalties of 30 yards on that 97-yard drive.
You know, I think the first mistake was on the third down play. You had them backed up. You play soft defense against a team with all kinds of weapons, a veteran quarterback. All he's got to do is pick up 5 or 6 yards. I think they should have pressured a little bit, try to make something happen defensively. But now you've lost all the momentum going into halftime.
Stevens takes a knee. That ends the first half. Georgia 20, Tennessee 7. Let's take it to Tim Brando in our New York studios. And welcome back at halftime. August 7 taking a break here as we get ready to start the third quarter. Craig Bolerjack, Steve Berline, glad you're with us on CBS. I'd say that late push by Georgia opened this ball game up at 20-7, what could have been a 13-7 game at halftime for Georgia. Our first half highlight, Steve, begins, by the way, with a pregame comment from Tennessee quarterback Nick Stevens.
Go out and protect the ball, you know. Play my game, not worry about the crowd, not worry about how many people watching us. Go out, you know, the team with the ball.
Well, it started early for Nick Stevens. A bad hit early in the game. He wanted to protect the football. He did a good job of that. And when he got the chance late in the first half to make the big play, there it was. That was the momentum or the impetus to get him in the end zone the first time. But several miscues throughout the course of the first half. Right there, questionable helmet-to-helmet shot there. Then a very ill-advised play by DeAngelo Willingham out of bounds on the sideline, leading to the touchdown right before the end of the first half. Matthew Stafford willing to take advantage, obviously, of the opportunities that Tennessee's defense uncharacteristically was giving him.
And the first half trends brought to you by DirecTV. Stevens' first SEC start produces 5 of 10 in the first half for 101 yards and a touchdown. Penalties, definitely a big story. 6 flags, 57 yards against the Volunteers. Georgia, hey, they've taken care of things. 2 for 10 in the first half.
Georgia, yes, doing a great job of staying away from one of their #1 priorities, penalties. They've had a couple that came at the bad times, but they have not hurt them too dramatically. Tennessee has been victimized much more frequently in the first half.
And Colquitt kicks away for Tennessee to start the third quarter. That's Samuel on a short kick, breaks the tackle. Stiffs arm, and it dropped down to the 31-yard line. And Dennis Rogan with the special teams tackle. How about the Aflac trivia question? I've been waiting for this, Steve, all day. I know you have. Which current Division I running back was a Pop Warner teammate with Knowshon Moreno?
That is going to be fun to find out. I'll tell you that. I have no idea.
Pop Warner teammate. The Georgia with the 13-point lead and with the football here to start the second half at the 31-yard line. The pitch. The former Pop Warner star. That's Moreno, lowers his path. He has great cutback ability. And what looks to be a 1 or 2 yard gain, Steve, what makes great backs great is because they then can pick up the 2 and 3 extra yards.
It's like in golf, Craig. You know, they say it's not how good your good ones are, it's how good your bad ones are. You just don't want to have really bad plays in football. Knowshon Moreno does a great job of making something out of nothing. It's not necessarily a dramatic big gainer, but plays that could be stopped for nothing, he gets it back to positive plays.
Don't talk to me about my golf game, please. Second play of the third quarter, second down 6, and flags are down. There were still 3 seconds on the play clock. And we'll get the call from Penn Wagers.
Prior to the snap, ball start, number 79 on offense, 75 yards, down remains Sutton.
So Justin Anderson, the right tackle, with a little hiccup. Well, Monday, it's the most shocking CSI Miami of the year. Don't miss the episode. Everyone will be talking about new CSI Miami. It's Monday at 10, 9 Central, only on CBS. So the penalty takes Georgia back to the 30-yard line. Second down and 11. Play clock 2, play clock 1. Oh, it's got it off right up the gut. Moreno picks up 3. Let's go back to New York for an update. Here's Tim Brando.
All right, Bowler. Arkansas got a field goal in the opening possession, but then Auburn, ranked 10th statistically in kickoff return yardage coming in, does one better. Tristan Davis, 97 yards the return to give the Tigers the lead 7-3. Back to you.
All right, Timmy, thanks. It's been a strange week or so with Auburn. Tommy Tuberville, remember. Tony Franklin, the offensive coordinator, out. And Steve Ensminger calling the plays today.
Yeah.
Stafford throws a dart far sideline. Simple pitch and catch. Watch out. A.J. Green with a stiff arm. And close to a first down. But as I mentioned, Auburn mixing things up. Tommy Tuberville not happy with the way the offense was going, so Franklin goes out and Ensminger calls the plays.
Well, very rare that a move is made this early in the season for a first-time offensive coordinator. Those numbers don't lie right there. Not ranked very highly at anything. 119th is as low as you can get, folks, in the total offense category. Tony Franklin, the victim, and I really think there had to be something more to that story than what we really know right now. For only 6 games in his career, you know, he put in a new offense, a spread offense. The people at Auburn, none of the players had ever run it before. Just a very frustrating time, I'm sure, for all the people involved with that program.
A.J. Green came up about a yard short
Offense.
of the first down.
It's 4th down.
And now a delay of game is whistled against Georgia. And first punt for Brian Mims, who averages 41 yards a kick on the season. We'll see. It will be interesting to see how Tennessee responds after giving up the 97-yard drive to end the second quarter by Georgia.
And it is very important, Craig, that they do respond. They've got to make a statement on this first drive. Get on the board at least with a field goal to show they're not going to be going away anywhere.
Good high kick. Jones, fair catch, and pedals back inside the 15. They'll mark it down to the 13-yard line. Tennessee back on offense when Remak on CBS. In May, Mark Richt joined 4 other college football coaches on a goodwill tour in the Persian Gulf. Of course, making hospital visits. Richt flew in a tanker. The Mark Richt couldn't resist taking the sidelines to the desert. Yep, the trip certainly boosted the morale of the troops and left Mark Richt with a lasting memory. Yeah, he got carried off on the shoulders of the soldiers. So he's quite a humanitarian, Mark Richt. He's also pretty good on the football field. 2 SEC titles, and Steve, 7 straight bowl games he's led Georgia.
And to one of the things that really impressed him the most, he said that a lot of the soldiers over there told him that they enjoyed his visit more than the Tampa Bay Buccaneer cheerleaders.
Hold it. What?
That's what they said. And I'll tell you, that says a lot right there.
Oh, he's a motivator.
Yeah, what a special guy he is, though. I mean, the lessons that he teaches these kids aside from football are immeasurable.
For Tennessee, down by 13. Foster, the ball carrier. And maybe back to the original line of scrimmage. If you looked at the Richt years, his first season in 01, they finished 3rd in the East, 8-4 record. Jump up to 13-1 SEC champs. Another championship in 05. Last year, they go 11-2. And what is a very difficult SEC. They own a 13-point lead on Tennessee. The Volunteers have won the last 2 against Georgia, and they're desperate for a victory. As the season nears a halfway mark, and that ball is knocked away. Lucas Taylor, the intended receiver, and Asher Allen could not have timed that ball more perfectly.
He really did. He broke on the ball right on cue. Nick Stevens had no doubt where he wanted to go with the football. Like the matchup, Lucas Taylor could not get his body between Asher Allen and the football. And now here we are looking at the same situation we looked at early in the game for Tennessee. 3rd and long, kind of backed up in their own end zone.
Crowds into it. Shotgun, Nick Stevens. Takes a snap, feels the pressure. Nothing doing. Boy, Georgia all over that play, led by Rennie Curran.
It seems like Rennie Curran and Asher Allen
everywhere.
Rennie Curran, number 35, Asher Allen, number 2. They always seem to do things in bunches together. You know, they combined on the big play against South Carolina a few weeks back at the 1-yard line. Rennie Curran creating the fumble and Asher Allen recovering it to preserve that game. Right there was no hesitation. They read the screen pass perfectly and then excelled and made the play for a loss of about 5 yards.
This will be the 5th punt for Colquitt. And Tennessee had to call a timeout. They were short a man on the field. Oh, my.
And there really is no excuse for that.
Short a man on a punt.
here in the third quarter. Philip Fulmer, yeah, I don't blame you.
He is livid on that sideline. You don't see him show too much emotion, generally speaking, but he's showing it right now.
Had a fine talk with Philip Fulmer on Tuesday of this week. And Steve, you know what? He's been through this pressure cooker before. It's what it is in the SEC. He's been there 17 years. He played at Tennessee. And you remember the game we did in Knoxville last year, the win over Georgia turned that season around. And I know there was a lot of hope that today that same type of history would repeat itself.
There isn't any doubt that that's what Phil Fulmer was hoping for coming into this ball game, and they still have a chance if they can step up and make a few plays offensively, keep Georgia from running away with this ball game. But yeah, that is exactly what his mentality was. You know, at the point of that Georgia game last year, things were on the rocks for them, so to speak, and they ended up using that to propel them into SEC's contention.
Colquitt hanging on the back edge of the end zone. He'll need a big punt. Prince Miller awaits. Fine drive shot. Good punt. Miller pedals back at the 38-yard line. Works to the near side. Cuts back midfield. Cuts back again. Flags it down. Watch out. Miller 40 and is wrestled out of bounds at the 35-yard line. But a flag is down at the 47. Ben Martin with the special teams tackle. And we'll see what the flag is all about.
You've got to assume it's some sort of illegal block. I'll tell you, that Prince Miller, he sure looks comfortable back there returning those punts. Colquitt almost outkicked his coverage there, gave him room to get ahead of steam going. But
55-yard kick.
Yes, on the line. And Prince Miller seems to know exactly what to do with that football.
Now you get the yardage. Those are tough ones because you needed some room, breathing room. Holding's a call. And then a personal foul.
Oh.
Illegal block in the back. On the return team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Well, the crowd saw the initial. Here we go.
After the play is over, personal foul. Number 47 on the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Steve, 3 personal foul calls against Tennessee.
Really uncharacteristic for a Phil Fulmer football team. You know, his teams are usually very disciplined, and Phil Fulmer going over there and I'm sure very politely asking exactly what were you thinking, Mr. Colquitt, the punter. That's what they called it on.
10:38 to play in the third. We'll take a timeout. Georgia on top. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by The Hartford, Coca-Cola Zero, Chick-fil-A, and by NikeFootball.com. Well, we have the Aflac trivia question and answer. First, a question: which current Division I running back was a Pop Warner teammate with Knowshon Moreno? You know the answer there, Mr. B. Donald Brown of UConn.
Both of them from New Jersey. Donald Brown, Knowshon Moreno did not go to high school together, but they played further back than that in Pop Warner. A lot of talent on that football field.
Was there? I was just thinking to myself, you know, there's some exciting times. So Georgia with the lead of 13 in the football. The pitch, Moreno hops and skips past the 40-yard line to the 38-yard line. Now you're talking about the two. Red Bank Catholic High School, Donald Brown. Moreno played at Middletown South in New Jersey, and look at the numbers. Those are senior year numbers in high school. Over 1,300 yards for Moreno. And then look at Brown, what he's doing in college. Over 1,000 yards at the University of Connecticut. Second down, 7. Georgia, I formation, play action. Stafford feels pressure, throws off his back foot. Caught right around the ankles. Massaquoi lowers his shoulder and bangs his way to the 7-yard line. McKenzie and Vincent brought it down.
And they came with the blitz. You can see off the backside there are not any quarterbacks that can make that throw that Matthew Stafford made on the move to his right. Not really getting his body or his power behind it. Watch how he's moving to his right there and just flicks it over the top, right on the money to Mohamed Massaquoi. Big gain. Georgia knocking on the door one more time.
32-yard reception. Massaquoi caught the 9-yard touchdown at the end of the second quarter. 5 receptions, 103 yards for Massaquoi. Dancing and breaking 1 or 2 tackles. Marino stacked up short of the 5-yard line.
Well, there's a reason why there's been so few touchdowns scored running the football against this Tennessee team. You almost think that you got a better chance if you're Georgia to come out and throw some play action on first down or kind of spread the field, let Matthew Stafford pick the matchup that he wants. It's just a hard thing to accomplish trying to run the ball right at this Tennessee Volunteer defense.
Yeah, they only allow 90 yards a game. They're ranked number 1, however, in the SEC in total defense, allowing only 244 yards a game. But Stafford and Georgia having their way. Play clock to 2. Stafford, keeper, and is drilled and dropped by Ayers, number 91. Put the hat right on the numbers.
Ayers has gotten to know Matthew Stafford pretty well. He's right on the left-hand side, right over here, or right-hand side of your screen, right there. Watch him come up the field. He does not bite on the hand. Spins out of it. Does a great job spinning out against Clinton Bowling, the left tackle, and knowing exactly where Matthew Stafford is, and then giving him a nice big kiss on the face mask.
Those are the numbers on that rush defense, and they're playing tough again inside the 10-yard line. It's 3rd down and goal. Close to 8 minutes of play in the 3rd. Shotgun up top. Goes off. Picked off. Berry at the 20, at the 25, 30. Eric Berry spins and still on his feet at the 40. What a play by Berry in the end zone.
I am absolutely amazed that Georgia keeps going back to these fade routes down by the end of the day. They're 0 for 4 now, and obvious miscommunication between Michael Moore, number 82, and Matthew Stafford. And Eric Berry, the guy that just has an absolute amazing sense for catching. Look at that athletic ability spinning out of that thing. That is his 4th interception of the season, his 9th in 2 years, and he averages over 35 yards per return. Now that average is going to jump up even more.
Amazing, 54 yards. You know, Moore looked like Stafford wanted to throw on the outside shoulder, and he went in.
That was a miscommunication. Matthew Stafford was throwing the fade route all the way, and Moore was running an out route. And you have to think that as the quarterback, Matthew Moore is the guy that called the play in the huddle. He's thinking that he's throwing a fade route for a reason.
They're going to review this, not because of the pick, but where actually, if the knee was down, you saw him go to a knee nearly, Steve. They want to see if that knee was down or if he caught his balance, and that ball is actually going to be placed at the 46-yard line.
Well, we're going to look at it. I believe it's his left knee as he comes out right here. The left knee goes.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down.
So they will place the ball at the 46-yard line of Georgia. And Steve, you need breaks. You need breaks on the road. And here's a break for Tennessee.
And I would love to see Phil Fulmer and Dave Klotz come out and throw this ball up the field on first down. That's where they've had their success making plays. They got one-on-one on the outside.
Stevens, good protection, throws that ball up high, tip, and then caught. Gerald Jones with an acrobatic grab at the 30-yard line.
I'll tell you what, Craig, this should have been a touchdown. If you look at we're going to get a shot of the replay right here. Watch the receiver right here. He's going to go by. I think it's Gerald Jones down the sideline. He is wide open for a touchdown. There's nobody back there. And Nick Stevens made up his mind to throw at a young quarterback trying to come underneath. There was nobody between Gerald Jones and the end zone.
A 15-yard pickup. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line at Georgia. Hardesty in the backfield for the Volunteers. Stevens, 5-step drop, throws a dart up over the top, tipped again, and falls incomplete. Dangerous pass. Lucas Hiller, the intended receiver, and that time, Stevens threw into double coverage.
He really did. That was another ill-advised throw. That's 2 in a row. I love the mentality of Tennessee coming out and trying to make things happen offensively. And Phil Fulmer said, let's give this guy a chance to make plays. But that's 2 bad decisions in the row. One they almost paid for.
Goes 2nd down at the 30-yard line. Nick Stevens making his first SEC start here on the road in Athens for Tennessee. Pitch comes near side. Hardesty stacked up and dropped, no gain. Rashad Jones, a free safety, made the initial hit. And don't forget, later in the game, we'll have the 5-star play of the game presented by Wrangler. And we've seen some beauties so far.
There have been a bunch of them. There's no doubt. And right here, no play bigger than this one for the Tennessee Volunteer offense. This is where a quarterback like Nick Stevens, he's young, but he's got to step up and play like a veteran right here and make the right kind of decisions.
Timeout. And Georgia calls time to try to freeze the young quarterback. 7:01 on the 3rd quarter clock. Timeout. Well, offensive factors in this game. Stafford, no question, for Georgia, along with Marino. Stevens in his first SEC start, 112 yards, but they need help. Arian Foster has been shut down. 3 rushes, 3 yards.
Arian Foster, has not been a factor in this ball game. 6 touchdowns in the previous 2 games against Georgia. They are focused. They've frozen him, like we said. Big play right here for the young quarterback.
Yeah, really big. 3rd down and 9. 7:02 on the 3rd quarter clock. Good protection. Throws over the middle. Caught! Taylor still on his feet, then wrestled down at the 16-yard line. Oh, a big throw from the young man from Flower Mound, Texas.
Nick Stevens stepped up big time right here. You see behind, he had to be patient, like talked about. Be patient, make a play. He sees the hole. He throws it in there. A great catch by Lucas Taylor, the senior. Super job of pulling that ball in. That's what your senior playmakers have to be. Dave Clawson said, you got to get plays out of Lucas Taylor. There's one right there. Keeps him in the ball game.
2nd catch, 18 yards on the afternoon. 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line at Georgia. Handoff up the middle. Little scatter move. And Hardesty is dropped down. Jones and Allen team up to make the tackle. It's been a tough go running against Georgia's front.
It really has. Georgia's doing exactly what you would expect them to do in this situation. Arian Foster has killed them the previous couple years. Nick Stevens is a young, unproven quarterback. Make him beat you. I think if I were Dave Clawson, I'd throw the ball on 1st down every single play right now. You're going to get your one-on-one matchups, and Nick Stevens is going to be in a good position to make plays.
Gerald Jones in motion, rolling out. Stevens buys time, steps up, throws it away. That, again, is you live to play another day. 3rd down.
But you know what? This is tough on the young quarterback. When you got 2nd and 8, that's going to be a pass defense for Georgia. And you run a play action into a pass defense, that's a tough thing to excel and execute at. 1st down is where you want to try and get the matchups and make the plays. That's what Georgia's showing today. They're doing it consistently. That's when they got to make their attempts to make a play.
Well, Stevens beat up Jonathan Crompton in practice. He's got a gunslinger attitude, got a quick wrist, and he reads through his progressions very fast. 3rd down and 8. Stevens flushed out of the pocket, has room to run, throws, touchdown, Tennessee! Lucas Taylor in the corner of the end zone. Big play.
That was a great play by Nick Stevens. And Lucas Taylor, knowing he's wide open, sitting in the back of the end zone. The coverage broke down. Asher Allen, for some unknown reason, completely lost any kind of vision on Lucas Taylor. Nick Stevens rolled to his left, saw Lucas Taylor sitting in the back of the end zone all alone, and delivered a strike.
12-yard touchdown, Stevens to Taylor. And now Lincoln will try the point after. It's amazing. Tennessee hanging around. And Stevens out of the pocket. Bingo. And a ball game here in Athens. 5:37 to play, third quarter. Georgia leads Tennessee by 6. Time now for the playbook presented by the Hartford.
You're going to see right here. Here's Lucas Taylor wide on the bottom of your screen there, and you're going to see he's just going to go to a fade down the corner. The deep back over him is not Ashon, as I said. It's Brian Evans, number 3. He completely loses feel. You could see in the back of the end zone. He just let Lucas Taylor go right to the back of the end zone and made the throw and catch nice and easy for Nick Stevens and Lucas Taylor. Lucas Taylor says, "Thank you very much, Brian Evans. That's what we were looking for."
7 plays, 46 yards, just over 2 minutes off the third quarter clock. How about Tennessee? Both their touchdowns have been scored off turnovers, off of Stafford interceptions. And again, on the road, Steve, you get a gift, you got to take advantage.
You have to take advantage of it. You know, Georgia's got a few gifts from Tennessee already in this game. Matthew Stafford, only 1 interception on the season coming into this game, 2 today. Can't say enough still about how the Tennessee defense has kept this Tennessee club in the game.
Cunningham's going to hit for Tennessee. And ball's going to end up short about the 10-yard line. Richard Samuel at the 20 and chopped down to the 23-yard line. Interesting scenario here in Athens, Georgia. How about tonight? LSU, 3rd ranked in the country, taking on Urban Meyer and the 12th ranked Florida Gators. That's tonight, 8 o'clock here on CBS. You'll see Tebow. You'll see Lee and Scott. Tebow, of course, the reigning Heisman winner. We've got a flag down at the 30-yard line. Here's the call.
After the play is over, personal foul, number 46 on the return team. Penalty half the distance to the goal. First down.
Well, Steve, that's now 4 personal fouls called in this game. 3 Tennessee, 1 for Georgia.
Yep, and Fields is trying to plead his case to the jury right there. The bottom line is it's a bad time for a penalty, and Tennessee has the momentum. See if they can capitalize on it.
Well, 1st and 10. This drive starts at the 12-yard line for Stafford. They're up by 6. Play action, pressure. Stafford throws that ball into the second row. Let's go back to New York for an update. Here's Tim Brando. Timmy.
All right, Bowler. North Carolina got to within 2 of Notre Dame as Ryan Houston scores from a yard out. But they decide to chase points, Butch Davis's team, and Maurice Crum Jr. bats down Cameron Sexton's 2-point conversion try. With over 5 to play in the third, chasing some points. Now, North Carolina did get another turnover, and they have the ball against Notre Dame. Back to you.
Well, Timmy, I had a feeling we were going to go down to the wire in that game. North Carolina really playing good football this year.
Second down at 10. Pitch. Marino using the short side of the field. Follows his blockers. And maybe to the 18-yard line. Champus, the fullback, was able to spring in for an extra yard or 2. And that brings up 3rd down. And the clock runs. Steve Berline rolling up on 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. You know, if you've been watching this game from the start, Georgia's had multiple opportunities to really open this game up and put Tennessee away. To Tennessee's credit, they've taken a couple of turnovers by the Bulldogs and turned them into points.
They have.
And here we are, a 6-point game.
And a lot of people might be surprised by this, but we felt pretty strongly that Tennessee was going to come in and keep this game close.
Stafford. Throws, caught, 1 tackle broken. D'Amico Goodman. I thought he was stopped dead in his tracks and threw off a tackler and picked up 5 extra yards. Now a flag, personal foul. Personal foul, Tennessee. Back at the 8-yard line is the call.
I'll tell you what, that show right there illustrates the arm strength of Matthew Stafford, though. That ball was on a rope.
After the play's over, personal foul. 57 on the defense. Penalty 15 yards added on the end of the run. First down.
That's Gerald Williams. He's taken down by Marino. There's a little wrestling. Oh, there's the punch, yeah.
And look at this throw by Matthew. This is great coverage by Dennis. So he did a little bit of extra contact by Dennis Rogan. I don't know how that ball got in there, but Goodman had no choice but to catch that thing. It stuck in his chest.
Tennessee showing blitz, and now multiple flags are down. Steve Erline, 4 personal fouls.
Yeah.
Whistled on Tennessee. Another call. Here's Penn Wagers.
Prior to the snap, ball start, 71 on the offense, 25 yards. Down remains 1.
Cordy Glenn. So they'll march it back 5, and now Red Lobster presents today's Scholar Athlete. And it's Sean Champus, sophomore from St. Augustine, Florida, made the Dean's List. How about a 3.31, a marketing major? And Red Lobster's commitment to the investment of our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to the University of Georgia's General Scholarship Fund. Back to the air. Stafford connects at the 41-yard line, but I see another flag at the 40. To the officials, led by Penn Wager, Steve, trying to keep this game under control.
Illegal man downfield.
An elbow receiver, number 79 on the offense, only 5 yards. There remains 1.
That's the right tackle, Justin Anderson. Well, Monday on CBS, one brother's employee is another brother's opportunity on TV's #1 comedy, 2.5 Men. Don't miss a new episode. It's Monday at 9/8 Central, only on CBS. Under 4 minutes to play in a wild third quarter. My goodness, penalties now beginning to pile up. 16 in all. And over I'm going to do the math. 138. How's that?
38 yards.
I did real well in math, by the way.
I call you the human calculator. Great job.
Thank you. So first down and 20. Georgia with the ball up by 6. Shotgun. Matthew Stafford stands, throws. The fullback breaks it and then jumps. Can you believe that? I don't think I've seen a fullback ever pull off that type of athletic move.
That's no Sean Marino's job to be hurdling people.
Unbelievable.
Chappis, who had 3 catches on the season coming in today. Look at this, jumping over the top, doing a little, barrel roll over the top.
Oh, 25 yards for Chappis.
And looks like he knows what he's doing with that football. That's 3 catches for 64 yards for Chappis.
Georgia moving the football, backside pressure. It's dumped off and caught by Caleb King. And let's go back for an update. And once again, it's Tim Brando.
All right, we've got another unbeaten in some trouble, fellas. Nebraska, an 8-play, 79-yard drive. And it ends with Joe Gantz hitting Todd Peterson, a 17-yard hookup. They're going to overtime in Lubbock. Texas Tech has the ball on the Nebraska 1. We'll keep you posted, unless, of course, I'm penalized for illegal procedure. Back to you.
Hey, Timmy, as long as it's not personal foul. All right. Well, always a wild day in college football. The polls are going to be, most likely, they're going to be shaken. Play action. Stafford stands up. Pressure. Sidesteps it. Still on his feet. At the 40. Makes a cut. And is dropped down. First down, or near a first down. Stafford needed to get to the 32-yard line. Robert Ayers brought him down, or pressured the quarterback. And let's look at the SEC East. Yes, Vanderbilt undefeated when we kicked this game earlier. Now losing 5-1 on the season. The Gators play tonight. They're 4-1 overall, 2-1 in the East. And then you have Georgia trying to go 2-1 in conference play, while Tennessee's looking, Steve, for their first win in the East.
It is hard to win in this conference. Vanderbilt found out today. Still got a great chance, though, to be in the mix of things at the end if they can pull it together.
Stafford throws, cut, and it's Keth Harris. Eric Berry brought him down. You know, right now, Stafford is just picking apart Tennessee. It's nothing. Most of these are thrown to the sideline.
And we looked at the film of the game 2 weeks ago against Alabama. Everything was up the field.
Yes.
I'm sure Tennessee was counting on a lot more effort or attempt or focus on trying to make the plays, but Matthew Stafford's been very patient. 2 interceptions. One of them not his fault, the fade in the corner ends. The other one kind of a goofy play where Robert Ayers picked off the screen pass.
Marino alongside Stafford. First down and 10. Throws, balls dropped. Massaquoi. Let's go back to the studio for a Liberty Mutual update, Tim.
Bowler, the Razorbacks taking on the Auburn Tigers, and they're now tied at 10 as Casey Dick is going to take it in from a yard out of that zone read. Now, Auburn has no points from their offense, but they are inside the red zone now. Steve Ensminger, in his first day calling plays for Tommy Tuberville, tries to punch it in. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Timmy. Again, another battle in the SEC.
Yeah. Tough to be Auburn there, you know, having a new offensive coordinator right in the middle of the season. You're still learning the original offense. They're struggling on offense over the
pitch, and it's red. Down goes Knowshon Moreno. Robert Ayers has had quite a ball game for Tennessee. I mean, he deserves a game ball.
He sure has. And this is a play that Georgia's run and maybe gone to the well one too many times. I don't know who was supposed to block Robert Ayers, but you would think the end man on the line of scrimmage to the side a pitch is going would be a fairly high priority to block. No one even looked at him.
Well, a good quick end, goes 6'3", 270, and not fooled on that play.
And you know, it seems that when he tackles you too, it's pretty solid. He's always, everybody he's hitting squarely.
10th play of this drive coming up. 3rd down and 16 at the 37-yard line. 2 wideouts, bottom of your screen, up the middle. Marino takes a hit, keeps on running. Boy, he always trying to keep the feet moving. And on second effort, he drives inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. And the final seconds of the 3rd quarter winding down here in Athens. So that ends the 3rd quarter, and it's Georgia 20, Tennessee 14. We'll return to Sanford Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the SEC on CBS. Well, 4th quarter in Athens, 2014 Georgia, too close to call. Everybody's barking about this game, huh?
Amazing. And I'll tell you what, you look at the student newspaper from yesterday, Rocky Top Redemption in the red and black newspaper. That's Sutherland, Brandon Sutherland on the cover. They were fired up about making a statement to respond to last year's demolishing at Rocky Top, and so far they're in control of this game.
Well, Georgia's lost 2 in a row to Tennessee.
2 in a row, and one of those things, though, I tell you, I think a lot of these students here, all the build for this game, they didn't think Tennessee would be hanging around at this point after 3 quarters. You got to tip your hat.
Blair Walsh will try a field goal. He's hit 2 of 34 yards and 20, and this one is from 41. And that ball still had plenty left.
What can you say about this freshman kicker?
He's good out of Fort Lauderdale. 23-14 Georgia. Well, you look at the Geico scoring drive. Brandon Sutherland, 1-yard plunge, 7-0. Blair Walsh, 34-yard field goal. Georgia by 10. 2nd quarter, Walsh goes from 20 yards, and it's 13-0 Bulldogs. But then Tennessee gets a break. Stevens throws a touchdown, 2 yards. Gerald Jones, 13-7. And then Massaquoi, that's a beautiful catch, 9 yards, 27 at the break. Back comes Tennessee. Stevens to Lucas. Taylor for 12 yards, 20-14. And Walsh just hit a 41-yard field goal to make it 23-14. And that is our Geico scoring recap. And that is minus some of the personal fouls that we've seen in this ball game today, which had an effect on this scoring.
It has had a significant effect on this scoring. We were talking about Brian Walsh, the kicker, right before we went to break there, making his field goal. He's only missed 2 kicks this year, both of them from over 50 yards. This freshman has really come in and proven that he can handle job.
Yeah, he's 3 for 3 today, 34, 20, and 41-yard kicks.
That makes him 9 of 11 on the season.
So 14:55, that's a lifetime. And it's a 23-14 ball game.
And pressure right back squarely now on
Yes.
the Tennessee offense. So it's now a two-possession game, down 9. Let's see if Dave Clawson comes out a little bit more aggressively.
Walsh, the kick. Deep. Rogan come out at the 15-20 and to the 26-yard line. And for another update, a busy man, Tim Brando.
All right, Craig and Steve, Texas Tech's Eric Marsh in overtime will score on this short run, a 2-yarder. The extra point is blocked. However, Jamar Wall will pick off Joe Gaines' pass in their overtime session, so Texas Tech wins it by 6. They're number 7 in the country, their highest ranking since 1976. Back to you.
Oh, my.
Well, I'm trying to figure out if that was actually a throw or a handoff on the interception.
37-31, Tech stays alive, ranked 7th. Tennessee. Oh, threw that into double coverage and got away with it. Got away. Asher Allen was right around it, and the fall's incomplete.
Yeah, it was good coverage. I like the first down throw. Nick Stevens telling us he wanted the ball today. He's doing a good job of that. That was the first touchdown, and then a big 3rd down conversion. And then the second touchdown in the back of the end zone to Lucas Taylor again. And the kid he's made some plays today.
Timely plays. Second down. No. That brings the crowd off their feet. Gerald Jones caught for a loss back at the 17-yard line.
Well, unfortunately for Tennessee, you're going to see right here, watch Asher Allen. He's on a corner blitz right into the play. Tennessee, they've got a good call. No, Asher Allen was just too quick. Got back in the backfield before the offensive lineman could get out there to put a helmet on him.
Yeah, Asher Allen is on that Lott Trophy Award watch list. He's good. 2-year letterman out of Tucker, Georgia.
Tough call, too. Back up in your own side of the field to call a reverse.
3rd down and 18. Man coverage, caught down the sideline, out of bounds. Taylor made the big grab. But is it enough for a first down?
No, it's going to be a little bit short. Lucas Taylor, corner blitz came, and a great adjustment by Lucas Taylor and Nick Stevens to see it and realize that Asher Allen is not picked up on that play. You got to get rid of the ball. Still not quite enough. 4th and a long 1. And we see Colquitt out here to punt again.
And Logan Gray is set to receive back around the 25-yard line. Colquitt, good hang time, good distance. And the ball is taken at the 13. No return. And a kick of 53 yards. Back to Athens after this on CBS. Fourth quarter here in Athens, 13:44 to play. And Steve Burlock, Georgia will start this drive at their own 13-yard line.
I think about right now is the time to see the different first downs. Say 3-7 in favor of Georgia. But now is the time I think you should start seeing a heavy dose of no Sean Moreno. Try and grind out some yardage. Keep the change, keep the ball away from Tennessee, run some time off that clock.
And don't turn the ball over. Pitch, Moreno. Taken down at the 23-yard line. Back to New York. And Tim Brando.
All right, Steve and Craig, North Carolina scored the last 13 of the game with Notre Dame. Cameron Sexton's going to take it in from 4 yards out, 29-24. Now, Notre Dame decided to go for it on 4th down from the 27 of North Carolina. They come up short. Remember, Brandon Walker, their field goal kicker, has struggled. Coming into today's game was 1 for 7 in field goal tries. He did make a 42-yarder earlier today. Charlie Weiss decided to go for it. Back to you.
All right, Timmy, thanks. My partner, Berline, the former Golden Domer, has broken out into a hot rash.
Yeah, my worst nightmare. But, you know, Butch Davis, again, those boys are playing.
Tennessee showing blitz. Hand off the fullback, Chappus, and a host of white jerseys. Let's talk about surprise teams. Vandy until this afternoon unbeaten, Steve. Now 5-1. Utah under Kyle Whittingham running off 7-0. Big win over Wyoming. North Carolina trying to pick up a victory. Northwestern. And how about Joe Pa? Still getting it done at 6-0.
What can you say about Joe Pa? It looks like Northwestern is going to be going down to Michigan State today, too. They're down pretty significant at this point, so they'll fall for ranks of the unbeaten most likely. But still a great start for every one of those schools.
2nd down and 6. Now the lone back, Marino. Quick flip to the far side. A.J. Green runs out of bounds, close to a 1st down. And Eric Berry with the tackle. Well, Thursday on Survivor, a wild elephant invades camp on an all-new Survivor. That's Thursday at 8, 7 Central on CBS. I don't know if an elephant's running around here in Athens, but who's going to survive this game?
That's the big question right now. Right now, you got to think that Georgia, they seem to be in a nice rhythm. Working Knowshon Moreno, A.J. Green, and a couple of plays to get this thing going. 3rd and short here.
Under 12 minutes to play. 9-point Georgia lead. Boy, you hear the pads pop. They haven't let up in the intensity department at all in this ball game. And it's a 1st down for Georgia. And the pads you heard were Knowshon Moreno's. So he's 5'11", Steve, goes about 210. I mean, he's a tough guy. You know, we had a great talk with him, and he showed no ill signs of that elbow bruise, contusion. There were some reports he actually chipped a bone. He said, no, just a bone bruise. I need a little time off. I'm fine. And he's carried the ball, and he's delivered the punches today.
Yep, and he brings it every single play. He doesn't know how to take a play off. He's like the Energizer out there, just bouncing around everywhere all the time.
He averages 98 yards a game. He's at 89. Well, still time to go. Oh, he hops over one tackler and cuts back for more. Unbelievable running. Most backs, maybe you maybe get a yard, but those are those 3- and 4-yard runs that makes him special.
Well, he makes it look easy. The way he looks like a hurdler when he's going. The head never even goes. The head doesn't come up. He just in stride takes it over like it's just another obstacle, and then tucks it up and makes a good positive gain out of what could have been nothing.
90 yards, and he's closing in on 100. And let me remind you, no one's rushed for 100 against Tennessee this year.
Here's
Moreno's 10 yards away.
Good opportunity for some play action here to try and get one-on-one coverage.
2nd down, step fire. What are really playing off A.J. Green, makes his move to midfield. This kid's going to be special. A.J. Green, 6'4", and they do respect him. And see, sometimes you can play too far off a wide receiver.
Yeah, he's 6'4", 205, and look at the moves, though. The agility to just scoot in and out of these guys. These are guys that are pretty darn good athletes. Brent Vinson, the sophomore cornerback, is a very, very good athlete. Doesn't even get a hand on him until 10 yards, 12 yards up the field. He is going to be something special. You seldom see a person with that tall of a body, 6'4", that can move the way this kid moves.
Great body control was the word that Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator, told us about A.J. Green. Another run by Moreno. Myers-White with the tackle. And a special bye week for A.J. Green. Last Friday, A.J. became the first player from Summerville High in South Carolina to have his number retired old number one. Yeah, he's 18 years young. How about in high school? Over 5,200 yards in receiving yards and 53 touchdowns.
And he said his two favorite receivers, Calvin Johnson because he runs over people, and Randy Moss because he runs by people.
Second down 4. This drive is eating up the clock here in the fourth quarter. As we roll up on 9 minutes to play, the pitch, guess who? Marino. Doesn't need a lot of... Oh! He took a weapon at the 37-yard line. And he's up.
Oh, yeah. He's not used to that.
Oh, my.
Eric Berry coming from the free safety. Let's listen to this. Oof. Man.
Oh, baby.
That is what I'm talking about. Playing in the SEC, you see that every week.
Marino goes over 100 yards, and he paid for it. 102, the first back to run for 100 yards against his Tennessee defense. Caleb King checks in, breaks one tackle, cuts it back, middle of the field, and Georgia now just running right at the heart of Tennessee, down at the 30-yard line after a tough gain of 7. Rico McCoy wraps him up.
Well, I don't blame Knowshon Moreno for trying to clear the cobwebs out right now. That was a pop that he looks like he's fine. He's got the water and kind of just making sure that everything is just fine, that he's got all of his body parts in store in the right spot when he goes back out there on the field. Caleb King with a good strong run for his first time touching the ball today too.
Yeah, redshirt freshman in Norcross, Georgia. 10th play of this drive. Georgia has done a magnificent job using clock in this game. There's another tough run. Caleb King inside the 25. Let's go to Tim Brando for this Heisman Watch presented by Nissan. Timmy.
All right, Craig, Sam Bradford in a losing effort against Texas with 28 of 39, 387 yards, 5 touchdowns, a couple of picks. Javon Ringer of Michigan State surpassed 1,000 yards for the season. Chase Daniel, Tim Tebow featured tonight in big games. And you can bet Colt McCoy of Texas will be in the conversation where the Heisman's concerned this week. Back to you.
Yeah, Tim, I tell you, look at Daniel's completion percentage. What, 73 and change? Missouri's been a surprise. Tebow, I'm anxious to see that game tonight. Coming up on 7 minutes to play. Marino stays out, and the ball carrier is Caleb King. Ayers with another tackle for Tennessee. Maybe a yard. That brings up 3rd down.
Knowshon seems pretty content to hang out and just kind of view it from the sideline right now. But you talk about Missouri, Craig. You know, you say surprise. I don't know if many people are surprised they're where they're at now. They've still got the meat coming up.
Yeah.
They've still got Oklahoma and Texas and a few other big Big 12 games coming. So it'll iron itself out before it's all said and done.
And it'll iron itself out here in the SEC. I mean, I'll tell you, the Big 12 conference, tough. As is the Southeastern Conference. Cut back and driven down at the 14 is King. Demetrius Morley, the free safety, makes the hit. Okay, King's a tough back.
He is. If I'm Knowshon Moreno, I might want to get back in there.
You know, coming into this game, he ran for 175 yards on the season, but, you know, coaches always like to look at per carry average. Marino over 6 yards a carry, but how about King at 5.3?
Yeah, that's testament to both of them. And a good job by the offensive line up front. You know, Matthew Stafford said they're young. You got to trust them pass protection, but they're running the ball well.
3rd down and short. Stafford carries, leans over his offensive line. In fact, he rode the wave.
Great discipline. That's a situation where Mark Richt, he really worked on trying to get out of the huddle quick, get off the line, run that quarterback sneak.
Don't forget tonight, in prime time on CBS, 8 o'clock Eastern, LSU, ranked number 3 in the country, taking on the Florida Gators. Number 3 against number 12. Right here tonight on CBS.
Craig, we talked about this drive for Georgia, how it was important to establish that running game with Knowshon Moreno. Well, Caleb King has come in and established himself, too, but they've done just exactly what the doctor ordered for Georgia.
This time they go to the fullback, a little hop to the 5-yard line, Chappers to the 6. You know what? You mentioned when this drive started about clock management. I mean, they're chewing it up. It's 5 minutes to play.
That was over 8 minutes ago.
Yeah.
This drive has gone about 85 yards in almost 9 minutes off the clock. And really just grinding the ball on the ground, just saying, you know what, we're going to get more physical than you are at the line of scrimmage. We're going to show you how we do it down here between the hedges.
15th play of this drive. Coming up, the tailback is Caleb King. Despite a couple of picks by Stafford, he's managed this game very well. King, the carry. No gain at the 5.
Well, even more impressive, Craig, is the fact that they're doing it against this Tennessee defense, who's been one of the dominant defenses against the run this year. To be able to just put the ball on the ground in the fourth quarter and just pretty much dominate, going right at him, is very impressive.
And this defense has spent a lot of time on the field.
They really have.
I mean, this fourth quarter, I mean, they got to be sucking it up right now. There's no doubt.
The evidence of that is that Tennessee offensively only has 7 first downs today. That's a lot for a defense to be on the field.
Under 4 minutes to play, 3rd down and 4. Georgia can get a first down. They have to get to the 2, and now a timeout, Bulldogs. Timeout. We'll be back on CBS. There's a Bulldog in the making. Georgia up 23-14. And following the game, Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, and Tony Barnhart will be by with the TIAA Creft College Football today. Time permitting. Stay tuned. Still 3:45 on the clock. Tennessee with 2 timeouts. Georgia with 1. Marino is back for the Bulldogs. The tough tailback. In motion goes the fullback Sutherland. Pitch. Marino. Cut down and drop maybe for a yard loss. They're going to mark him at the 6, so about a half a yard. Good pursuit by Tennessee. And the clock runs 3:30 to play and 4th down.
And here comes Blair Walsh, a freshman again, but it just seems like when you get down near the goal line, this Tennessee defense can turn it up, and they did it again right there. This field goal is important now because it makes Tennessee it makes it a 2-touchdown ball game instead of a 2-score ball game.
Instead of a touchdown field goal, you're right. It's a 2-touchdown ball game if Walsh can connect on his 4th field goal of the afternoon. This will be a 24-yard attempt. And they let the clock run out and move it back 5, so it'll be from 29. You know, Mark Richt, Steve, I mean, it's all about, hey, let's get out of here. It's 2:53. I'll run the clock out. Let's march it back 5. We'll kick it from 29.
And also, it improves the angle for the kicker, too. If you think about that, the hash marks in college are wider than the goalpost, so you move back a little bit, it makes a better angle for the kicker. Oh, blocked.
But he still squeezed it through from 29. That was a knuckleball.
See if we can see who got a hand on that. Right up the middle. It looked like it was Demonte Bolden, I think, number 98, going up right there.
Yeah, Bolden was at 98. Yeah, Demonte and Philip Fulmer. Oh, so close. 2:49 left to play. We'll be back. Well, Wednesday, join James Brown, Phil Simms, Warren Sapp, and Chris Collinsworth for the best analysis, highlights, insights, and more on Inside the NFL. That's Wednesday night, 9 Eastern. Now the scoring drive, 11 minutes, 17 plays. And Walsh with an official 28-yard field goal, his 4th of the day. And the hard running by Knowshon Marino. Over 100 yards, the first time a back has done that against Tennessee's defense.
First time in a very long time. And Knowshon won that touchdown, though. I can tell you that right now.
Well, he survived the hit along the near sideline.
He did survive.
I mean, he's going to be able to think about it tonight. He may feel it tomorrow morning.
He's going to feel it.
Time of possession, Steve, in this game. Nearly 31 minutes on the field for Georgia. Tennessee 16.
Almost 2-1.
Short kick taken at the 9. Lennon Creer breaks a tackle, wiggles his way to the 25. And Steve, how about revisiting above the line?
Well, you know, you look at Nick Stevens, and he did well with what he was given. I think he missed the one touchdown pass, but he made up for it by delivering to Lucas Taylor. Can you do any better at this one right here? Freeze and Foster, unbelievable. And then, no, Georgia did establish Knowshon Moreno. Tennessee got to know him plenty. And then, remember the Alamo, the Volunteers, they showed up and played hard, but they didn't have a whole lot of help today.
Yeah, gave up to this point 464 yards in the pocket. Sliding grab near midfield, and it's caught. And Gerald Jones in Tennessee moves the change. They're going to go in the hurry up. They need the 2 touchdowns, as you mentioned. Volunteers with 2 timeouts. Georgia with 1. At midfield, 1st and 10. Nick Stevens, will he be the future of Tennessee football? From the shotgun. Pressure. And out of bounds, stops the clock with 2:16 to play. Corey Irvin bringing heat, big number 90. Well, Tennessee, Georgia, and tonight, LSU, Florida. Number 3 against number 12 at 8 o'clock here on CBS. Second down. Georgia bringing the heat, and they're still hitting. There's a pop. Foster takes a hit from C.J. Bird, the strong safety. Arian Foster not having the best of days, and this has been the fuel of the last 2 victories for Tennessee. 6 touchdowns over the past 2 ball games.
Yes. But I'll tell you, that wasn't his fault. Nick Stevens, that was a young mistake right there. Man-to-man coverage. I can't believe Georgia gave Tennessee an opportunity man-to-man. That's very tough to throw a swing pass against a linebacker running right to the running back. He had a good shot maybe to try and throw a ball up the field on a fade route to one of his wide receivers. Here comes the all-out blitz.
Boy, movement and flags. Look like the left side of Tennessee a little anxious. And the frustration for Philip Fulmer. He was hoping this would be his 150th career win today.
Prior to the snap, false start, 79 on the offense. Down remains 3rd.
Chris Scott, the left tackle. Look at the running back comparisons today. Marino, 102 yards. Foster, 3 carries, 3 yards. Hardesty, 6 rushes for 20.
And that's not a knock on Foster. He just never had a chance to get into the ball game, and neither did Hardesty, really. 9 rushes from a Tennessee team that needs to run the ball to preserve and take care of the young quarterback.
Georgia bringing pressure up top, man coverage, and that ball falls incomplete. And the intended receiver was Denarius Moore. Asher Allen on coverage.
But you know, Craig, that's what you got to do in that situation. You've got one-on-one coverage, and I know Georgia has got tremendous cover corners in Asher Allen and Prince Miller and Brian Evans coming off the bench. They can cover one-on-one with anybody. But as a quarterback in a big game like this, you see that one-on-one coverage, you got to give those guys a chance to make a play. That was a good job by Nick Stevens there.
4th down, 15 at the 44-yard line. Stevens, pressure from the edge, throws, and nearly intercepted and dropped to the 30-yard line. Bird had that ball go through his hands, and so Tennessee will hand it over on downs. And Mark Richt and the Bulldogs, Steve, are going to jump to 5-1, 2-1 in SEC play. And how about this? For only the 2nd time in the Philip Fulmer era, Tennessee 0-3. 2000 was the last time.
In the SEC, huh?
0-3 in 2000. They finished 5-3 in conference play, 8-4 for the season.
Well, that's what he's going to need to do here to get back in the mix and establish respectability again for this program that really does deserve it. We've talked about the quarterback change and the quarterback issues. All the coaches and all the players told us it wasn't just the quarterback, Jonathan Crompton, that was the problem. The offense on a whole has been underachieving all year.
Kalen King dropped for a loss. Now it's time for the DirecTV player of the game. And Knowshon Moreno, 27 carries, officially 101 yards. So becomes the first back to rush for 100 against Tennessee's defense this season.
And it started early. As we said, they wanted Tennessee to get to know Knowshon. Well, they did. And you see a bunch of edge plays getting to the outside. Here's one that ended not so favorably for Knowshon when Eric Berry came up and said hello to him. But good, solid, tough running day for Knowshon Moreno. No hesitation. This guy likes to take it up north and south and make something happen positive. You look at the rushing yard total. How about a 150-yard difference on the day? One total rushing yard for Tennessee.
Boy, Tennessee is going to scratch their head and more than that. Yep. I mean, you got to, and again, Steve, to change quarterbacks in midstream, difficult. It's hard to learn in the SEC on the road. I mean, you've been taking secondary snaps, during practice, and all of a sudden, you win the job. But it's tough to get reps when you're on the road. Let's get a college football update. Back to New York in 10.
All right, Craig. Well, at long last, Auburn's offense has gotten into the end zone. A 3-yard touchdown run by Cody Burns. They lead Arkansas 20-10. One quick footnote going into tonight's game on CBS. LSU could likely be playing for a shot at #1 in the country should they beat Florida at Florida tonight, fellas.
Going to be an interesting vote, is it not, Mr. B?
Yes, very interesting.
Look at the SEC West. Bama 6-0. LSU, as Timmy mentioned, undefeated. If they win tonight, yes, they could lay claim to #1. Arkansas at 0-2. Well, Tennessee's out of timeouts, and so there's 1:41 to play. Next week, by the way, Georgia, it's homecoming against Vanderbilt, and for Tennessee, it's Mississippi State.
And I think I can confidently say that Nick Stevens learned a lot of lessons from this game. He protected the football, did not make any big-time mistakes at all, made some plays when he had the opportunity. He'll be better because of this experience today.
Play clock runs down to 4, down to 2, and they get it away. Toss. King. Drop for about a 6-yard loss. Back to the 47. And Steve, let's check out the 5-star play of the game presented by Wrangler.
Well, it could have been any one of a number of plays today, but we chose to show you the big touchdown catch from Matthew Stafford to Muhammad Massaquoi that really took control of this game. It was right at the end of the first half when they mounted that 93-yard drive with the help of a couple of penalties against Tennessee, a few big plays, cashing in and getting that big touchdown right before the half.
Stafford, 25 of 36, over 300 yards passing, 310. He threw for 274 in that loss to Bama 2 weeks ago. That's a career high, mind you, the 310 yards. So a career day for Stafford.
He's going to tell you he's the kind of guy that will be honest with himself, and he'll say he was disappointed about the interceptions.
He forced a lot of throws against Alabama.
Against Alabama, he did. That's exactly right. He told us that. But today, I can't think of more than 1 or 2 that were even questionable as far as the decision that he made.
Punts away. High hanger, takes a bounce and into the end zone. Touchback at the 20-yard line. And a 56-yard punt. Make sure you're around tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern here on CBS. LSU, Florida, and this one, as Tim mentioned, back in New York. All the games could have, obviously, an impact on the polls. Number one out today. OU falling to Texas. They could lay claim. As Tim mentioned, if LSU beats Florida, they could lay claim. It'll be interesting to see how it all works itself out. Final 44 ticks here in Athens. And most of this crowd has stayed around to the end. Stevens nearly had it picked off right through the hands of Akeem Dent, the middle linebacker.
Akeem Dent saying, man, that was my chance right there to get that pick I've been waiting on. Georgia very well prepared though, and Matt, you know, Mark Richt goes to 11-2 coming out of byes. It's really, we didn't talk about it much today, but Georgia coming out of the bye, you look at the stats and the numbers, it's really a tremendous advantage, and at least with a coach like Mark Richt who knows how to take advantage of that time.
Stevens sets up, throws over the top, and nearly intercepted again. Ricocheted off Rashad Jones. One thing Georgia was able to do during the bye week, and that's they still got injured players, but they did get healthy.
They did get healthy, and this is one of the things that's not talked about very much, Craig. You know, you talk about the bye week. Tennessee this year has 4 games against opponents that are coming out of the bye week, whereas you look at a team like Georgia, they have 0. No games against teams coming out of the bye week, and that's just at the mercy of the scheduling. So that's working against Tennessee as well.
Stevens sets and throws underneath, and a flag is tossed. Arian Foster with the grab, and it's been a long day for Penn Wagers and his crew.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask. Number 50 on the defense, added on to the end of the run. First down.
5, or is that 6 personal fouls today? 6.
I don't know if I can count that high, to be honest with you. However many
6.
it is.
6 personal fouls in this game. Yep. Final seconds ticking down. Ball dropped. That stops the clock. Arian Foster incomplete. Steve, it'll be interesting to see what the post-game comments from Philip Fulmer, how fans react. There's heat on in Knoxville. They're going to drop to 2-4 on the season, 0-3 in conference play. And then, of course, Georgia, they feel like they've righted the ship. They're going to go 5-1 and 2-1 in the conference.
Well, you can predict that's what's going to happen back in Tennessee. There's no doubt about how it's going to come down. But the good thing about it is there's still a lot of football left this year, and Phil Fulmer can respond with his team and get himself back into a nice bowl game and maybe take some of that pressure off as the season goes along.
Another flag tossed near side at the 36. 9 seconds.